All right, so let's start the episode with some scheduling. And by scheduling, I mean explaining what fights we booked. Tony Seals, look at that one. Uriel Palacios, big deal of a title challenger in the middleweight division with his fights against Bill Donnelly. Losing 2 of 3 in that trilogy, of course, and now he will be the next step up for Tony Seals, and it will be hard to deny Tony Seals another title shot if he wins this fight. McCreary versus Bobby Esco, bit of an overrated, overranked fighter in my opinion, so McCreary should pick him off. He's got a decent record. Rodriguez versus Jamal Webster, another decent young prospect opponent for even Rodriguez, who continues to rack up wins. Wendy Rice, very impressive new prospect. Tony Ali will be fighting Darius Mitchell for some reason on the bottom of the undercard, but that should be an easy win for Darius as he climbs up towards 20. And then the trilogy will conclude. Ricardo Cotrill versus David Flores. These guys might keep fighting each other. I really like the matchup between the two of them, to be honest. Their two fights have been really entertaining. That controversial second draw that I believe Cotrill won the first fight, and I believe that Flores won the second one. Yes. Cotrill won the first one fair and square on decision, and then Flores should have won the second, but it was a draw for some reason. I definitely had it scored for Flores. I thought Flores did enough in that fight, I remember. And yeah, they're going to make it a trilogy. They're going to see who really wins, but there's a decent case for a fourth fight, even after this one, to be honest with you. Also on this card, we've got Kareem Ramos versus Mike McKiernan. Gervonta Williams is going to beat up Pinchy Henderson again. All my homies hate Pinchy Henderson. Manuel Soto versus Valter da Silva. This might be the best fight on the entire card. This is probably the real main event of the evening. This is a banger of a fight. Rico Hartman should beat Omar Cazares, but it could be a tough fight. He's got some power. And then Brandon Ramos is going to take on maybe his toughest fight so far in Ronald Ferreira. But Brandon Ramos is a guy we haven't talked much about. The Ann Arbor Annihilator. This guy can absolutely throw hands, man. He's undersized for a heavyweight. If he struggles at all, we move him down to cruiser for sure. But what a fighter. Fred Morales versus Herman Ruiz should be pretty much a walkover for Fred. A double super flyweight, 2 super flyweight fights on the top of the card. Glenn Alfaro, a big power puncher with no chin and no stamina. So might provide some danger for Max Rice, but it could also be a very easy win. Lamont Williams versus Errol Etchard. That should be a good fight. Edwards going to take on Adam Prado. That should be a win for him. Garcia versus Giovanni Carlos, who I think maybe fought for a title at some point. No. He's just been around the heavyweight division for a while. So let's see if Garcia can get a win against him and Philippone with his toughest test yet against hard-punching Godfrey Bouffard. And I think that's it for all the fights we have booked. Oh, no, we have Randy Dale versus Henry Tafer. Henry Tafer, I think just lost to Tony Seals by split decision. So let's see if Randy Dale can take care of him. Randy Dale, man. I don't know that Randy Dale isn't every bit as good as Tony Seals. They definitely haven't fought each other. That would be an interesting one. I think that the next Fitch versus Seals is Seals versus Dale. Dale is 33, though. I know Seals is a lot younger. I worry if a fight like that for Randy Dale could do some irreparable damage, to be perfectly honest with you. I think there's a good chance that we could book that fight and it would just completely throw Dale's career into the wood chip or do some damage that we couldn't repair. Although he does have 5 losses and his chin hasn't cracked. That's worth saying about Randy Dale. He's an impressive fighter, man. He's an impressive fighter. He's got a lot to him. Speaking of having a lot to him, Brian Mitchell, man. Brian Mitchell, another absolutely phenomenal fighter. He's got a big size advantage on Isaac Heredia. I wonder if Brian Mitchell is struggling to make welterweight. I mean, clearly not. Clearly not 13-0. I mean, he's Brian Mitchell just sounds like a heavier fighter than a welterweight. He's 6'1". I feel like this guy is really trimming to get to welterweight. I feel like this guy's like a middleweight or something. He's got to at least be like a natural middleweight or a super middleweight. I wonder how much we can even move Brian Mitchell up. This guy might have a career in front of him. Like, let's think about it. He's 6'1" at welterweight. Like, he could move up and win a few weight classes. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. He's really talented. But he actually could have that in his future. He has the size, and he's 13 wins, 13 KOs. But we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But, like, he's got Brian Mitchell has a real high ceiling, especially with that punch accuracy. That ring IQ needs to get a little higher. Frankie Edwards in what should be another entertaining fight against Dmitro Matveyev. Matveyev? Yes, Matveyev. Raymond Pena versus Charles Mawali. That's going to be a tough one for Pena. It's going to be a good test for Pena, too. Much smaller man, though. Much smaller man in Mawali. Sarnoy, once again, he needs to rack up wins. He's just got those fights left on his contract, like I said. Lopez, and then Cardo, who's impressed me as well. Can't click on that for some reason. But that's all the fights we've booked. And now it's time for some title fights. This is going to be a good one. Champ Magazine and 3 other belts in the featherweight division between Zhu Baohe, who is really impressed, and Rajabu Nogwengo, who is 19-0. It's 2 undefeated featherweights. The African champion Ngowengo. Ngowengo, I think it actually is. Rajabu Ngowengo. Okay. He versus Ngowengo. All right. Go to fight. Always interesting to see a matchup of undefeated fighters. He definitely a more decorated undefeated fighter and a more decorated undefeated champion, but Ngowengo has done really good damage in a big round 3. He's chasing the finish, and he breaks his right hand chasing the finish, and now he working off the back foot. As Ngowengo had a really good 3rd and 4th round there, but he breaks his hand in the 4th. And how will this affect the proceedings going forward? Let's find out. Round 5. He with a big round. He's not quite on the brink of being TKO'd as he was before. So it's progress. It's good progress for he. He continuing to march forward now. Yeah, he's got the advantage in the fight. Ngowengo. He's slowed down a little bit since he broke his hand. Lower punch volume, 24 in that 3rd round. He broke his hand here in the 4th. He needs to provide a little more volume, but he's got plenty of energy. And his TKO percentage is much lower at this point. I doubt we see a finish in this fight. It'll be tough to score, and that's a big round win by Ngowengo. Yeah, we got to start paying attention to the scorecards here. I mean, he's about to run out of energy, and he needs to use the last of his energy to win a round, but he can't win rounds at this point, and it's hard to say that he has done enough to retain his belt, even though he's the champion and he's defended his belt so many times. It's so tough to score this fight between 2 undefeated fighters. If this is a draw, it's just going to feel wrong. I mean, maybe if he really dominates the last round here. But if Ngowengo does any kind of good work, man, you can't say that he deserved to win this fight. So, round 12. He with a big round. Is it big enough? No, not at all. Ngowengo is the new Champ Magazine, WBA, IBF, WBO featherweight champion by majority decision. One of the cards was a draw. Rajabu Ngowengo, the new featherweight champion of the world, unseating Zhu Baohe, who, you try to defend your undefeated record. I think sometimes you just get a little too defensive. And I think that's what a case of that was. He just didn't have volume punching. He had an injured opponent with a broken hand, and he didn't chase him. He didn't really put any effort into hunting a finish. There weren't enough power shots. And Ngowengo now has a very important belt to defend. I wonder how long he will be able to stay on top. He doesn't really seem like... I mean, the ring IQ is what's making him undefeated, without question. Conditioning. Ring IQ and conditioning are very important, obviously, and can make a fighter undefeated. But 7 defense and 9 intelligence and 10 takes punishment makes me nervous for a fighter at the top of the food chain in a division like featherweight. He's going to have somebody coming for him who's probably going to be more than capable of knocking him out. So, yeah. And we don't have another title fight for 2 weeks. But we'll go to that one, and we'll do that one because it's a big one before we do the Cotrill Flores trilogy fight. After the Cotrill versus Flores trilogy has concluded, I'm definitely going to make a video on the channel of just all their fights against each other. Because it's been one of the best running stories of the Save so far, their little rivalry in the heavyweight division. And how well they match up against each other despite being in the same stable. And like Cotrill just having a little bit more of a lucky career because of that knockout power in the heavyweight division, and Flores just lacks that power, but he's a better fighter overall. So it's a great matchup. I mean, you can tell by the record, Flores with the 7 losses, he just doesn't quite have that power that really helps to protect you in the heavyweight division. That he lacks. He just isn't quite the puncher that Cotrill is, but he's a better defensive boxer and has more stamina and is more able to sustain punishment and has been in a lot more wars and a lot more entertaining fights. So you know what? I feel like I just pre-gamed it. So you know what? We're just gonna go straight to the show. Oh wait, never mind. We have the whole undercard to do. So you know what? I might edit that part in before the fight. When I make the full video, or we'll just do another pre-fight. Anyway, it's Davis versus Esquivel. Ooh, big knockdown there for Davis in round 2. Davis looking to defend his lightweight world titles against the Mexican challenger. Boring round 4. Good end of the round there by Esquivel. And a good round for Davis. Esquivel taking a lot of Davis's energy away and winning this fight. Big rounds. They're sort of trading rounds here. I mean, you can see. It's like one fighter will have a big round, the other fighter will have a big round, other fighter will have a big round. They're kind of going back and forth. But it's Davis who finds himself more drained and damaged as Esquivel is just piling on the pressure. Davis using the last of his energy to grab round 9, but now it's probably just going to be the Esquivel show. No, Davis wins 2 rounds there. That's very impressive. Is he going to give the judges something to think about here, sneakily winning a few of these rounds? And so many rounds in this fight have been lopsided. That was a close one. 113-110 Davis. 112-113 Esquivel. 113-112 for the winner by what I'm sure is going to be a very controversial split decision. Harvey Davis. I don't know about that one. He got the only knockdown, and it was a knockdown to the count of 9, but it was very early in the fight. He did win the end of the fight. He won 9-12. You know, he bit down on his mouthpiece at the end and did what a champion's supposed to do. And at the beginning of the fight, he also had a knockdown. But Esquivel controlled such large portions of the fight, too. That was a very interesting back and forth, difficult to score, difficult to judge fight. And I don't blame them for allowing Harvey Davis to keep his title. Even though Esquivel did a lot, I question if he did enough in a fight where he was the only fighter who got knocked down. So. And now it's time for the undercard of Cotrill versus Flores. Ramos versus Herrera. Big first round for both combatants. And a KO for Ramos. Brandon Ramos. Sorry, Brandon, we were talking about earlier, one of the more impressive young heavyweights we have had. Andy Fitch fighting way down the undercard. A little depressing, but he's on a bit of a losing streak. We still love Flick the Switch. Can he do it? Bad second round. All right, he's taking a lot of damage here. Let's try to jab and move. Fitch is the puncher. Nice. Okay, that was good. That was a good decision. We basically evened the fight back. Round 5. This has been a long fight for Fitch. Despite it only being the 5th round, he's taken a lot of punishment. He takes more punishment there, and the fight stopped. To go to the body was a mistake. Go to the body was a mistake. We have seen that story before. He wasn't particularly an accurate puncher either. I don't really know. That's a really tough one for Andy Fitch. It's a fighter who's sort of your size, doesn't have any kind of tools on you. That's really a fight Fitch should have won. That's sad. I think Andy Fitch might be going out kind of sad here, guys. I think Andy Fitch might be going out sad. Yeah, with the 2 takes punishment. Man, are we about to cut Andy Fitch from his contract? Because he has just struggled since that Hoon fight. That Hoon fight was a terrible mistake, it seems. That Hoon fight was a really, really bad mistake. And that wonderful Fitch versus Seals rivalry seems a long, long time ago now. I just uploaded the video, but man, Yeah, it's showing you how far ahead I am recording these. Man, this is bleak. Fitch thought he got his big break, and now he's yeah. It's a cruel, cruel game sometimes. I got nothing else to say. Do I regret the weight change? I mean, maybe. It was a weight change down. Maybe it drained him. Maybe it's tough for him to make the weight. Just taking too much damage, but he was very impressive at the start with very impressive wins. Jesse Clark is such an impressive win over a former title challenger. Artur Kamaza, impressive win. Cizeli is also a good win, especially by knockout. But ever since that Joe Hoon fight, I mean, the best result he's had here. Castro's a good win, but it was only by decision. He hasn't shown the knockout power since that Hoon fight. And Joe Hoon is still sitting up there at the top of the division, and that seems a world away from Andy Flick the Switch Fitch right now, unfortunately. Sadly. Hartman versus Cazares. And Hartman takes care of business. I didn't even commentate that fight. He was ahead for the entire time. Pretty much just won every round, completely bossed Cazares around, and Hartman with another win. Soto with his biggest test so far against Valter da Silva. This is a fight I'm very quickly going to put on fast if it's good enough. And never mind. It was good enough. Good enough for Soto. First round. This guy's dangerous. It's another first round KO. How many first round KOs does Soto have now, just to be curious? That's only a second one, but I mean, so many early round knockouts. 100% KO percentage, 3.7 average rounds per fight for Manuel Soto. 100% KO percentage, 3.7 average rounds. He's ranked by just about everybody, 12-0. He's about to rank up even more. He's 26, too. He's 26. I mean, could we be talking about a title shot in the near future for Manuel Soto after a performance like that? That was incredibly impressive. Statement made. Williams versus Pinchy Henderson, too. All my homies hate Pinchy Henderson. There we go. Second round KO. Gervonta Williams, now 10-0. Kareem Ramos, 17-2, taking on veteran Mike McKiernan, who I think we've fought before with somebody. This may be a rematch. If it is, I don't really care too much. And we get knocked down. Uh-oh. Ramos going to have to cover up now, and he gets KO'd by McKiernan, who's a dangerous puncher. 20 knockouts in the career for McKiernan. Just got number 21 as Kareem Ramos slumps back to the locker room in disappointment. Where is Kareem? Let's take a look. He needs a new contract. He is talented. The stamina's falling off. The on the canvas is falling off. Don't really know if a weight change would be in order. It doesn't really seem like it. It seems like he's an appropriately sized welterweight. All of his losses are pretty understandable. It just seems like he has a bit of a ceiling. He's fought a lot of good fighters, but I just don't really think Kareem Ramos is like a contender championship level guy. He's good. He's got punching power. He's got defense, but, you know, all the tools don't quite fill out. He doesn't really have much potential remaining, and he's still 24, but he's not going to grow. Unfortunately, it doesn't say, and he only has one more remaining potential to spend, so he's not going to grow anymore, unfortunately. But you know what? He's good enough actually to keep around. That's sort of my thing. He's a contender. He's not a contender. I think he's doing himself a little dirty right now. If this stamina and on the canvas are maybe at 1, and he goes on a bit of a longer losing streak, I'll cut him. But 17-3 isn't the end of the world. He's still got a 70% knockout percentage. He's still a welterweight. It's a difficult weight class, full of talent. I think we can just, if he wants to take a 3-fight contract, I'll give him another 3-fight contract, even though he just lost. I'm not that off the Kareem Ramos train, even if he's never going to be an undisputed champion. Rigoberto Grant, we just got to give him a new contract. Don't think I can level him up at all. And we'll go back to the card. And the main event of the evening. It is sold out here. And the main event of the evening, Cotrill versus Flores. All sold out here at Dignity Health Sports Park for the last fight in this trilogy. You know, Flores has proved to be a more defensive, more tactful fighter during his career. Cotrill, a bit more of a power puncher, although he is an excellent tactical fighter in his fights as well. So it's a great tactical matchup here in the heavyweight division that deserves a trilogy, that deserves a third fight after the first fight landed in the hands of the power punching slick Cotrill, and the second fight ended in a controversial decision that I personally believe was won by David Flores in one of the more powerhouse performances of his career. Flores, probably the overall better fighter, better stamina, not quite the hands, slightly better IQ. They really are close. They really are well matched. And it would be hard to imagine that even this third fight would be terribly definitive to their rivalry unless Cotrill really makes a statement. If Flores can make this fight competitive at all, I think there will be calls for a fourth fight due to at least my perception that Flores won that second fight. It'd be hard for me to imagine a super definitive conclusion to the rivalry here. Oh, baby. Oh, we got some good stuff now. David Flores just one punch KO Ricardo Cotrill in the first round. David Flores just one punch KO'd Ricardo Cotrill. A 1-2. Just walked right up to him. 1-2. I talk all that about Cotrill being a power puncher, having the better hands. And David Flores says, how about these hands? How about both of these hands? The first one and then the second one. The left one and then the right one. Bang, bang. I'm just picturing Lennox Lewis versus Seam Rockman. He just spun him a little bit, did a little, like, half circle. Ba, ba. 1-2 right to the temple. Bang, bang. You can hear that one on the parking lot. David Flores showing us every bit of the power. Treated his temple like a hanging slider. That was brutal. David Flores. And we're definitely getting that fourth fight now. You think Cotrill's not mad? It's 1-1-1. This is about to be a quadrology. David Flores providing the entertainment. David Flores giving us exactly what we wanted. How about these heavyweights, man? How about the heavyweight division? Just always with the entertainment. Always with the drama. Pop, pop. Bang, bang. 1-2. You're out. And how is that going to affect Ricardo Cotrill's career as well? I mean, you have to wonder. That is some drama. That is some entertainment right there. These guys do not like each other one bit. First fight, a win for Cotrill. Second fight, a draw. Third fight, he gets knocked out in the first round. And that's actually a really significant hit, it must be, to his title hopes. Cotrill, a pretty highly ranked fighter. We did ourselves kind of dirty there with that result. I mean, no, Flores is ranked too. And I said it was a left and then a right. Flores is a southpaw. So it was probably a right and then a left. The big left lands on Cotrill and sleeps him. And David Flores, the far less compensated fighter, only making $14,000, but he got a very, very big win to boost his stake in the division, and it's great to see that from David Flores, of course, a fighter who's really struggled and really gone through some tough times. And we're going to give Cotrill a new contract to heal the wounds a little bit of our own fighter, cold cocking him in, what was it, 27 seconds? What a fight, man. I can't wait for the fourth one. I can't wait for the fourth. All right, Morales versus Ruiz from the Amway Center in Orlando, the home of the Florida Man. The Florida Man still struggling to sell out venues, still struggling to move, get eyes and get attention. He's just forever underrated, it seems. Now 31 years old, 25-0, still has never had a title shot. And hopefully he can get an easy win in front of the home fans tonight. Robert Philippone starts off the undercard. Pretty even first 3 rounds, but we're ahead. And that's a bad round. We're going to tell Philippone to pile on pressure. We need him to be the initiator in this fight. We're going to go for broke in the last round. We should have won that last round. I don't think we lost that fight, man. That's very unfair. And Robert Philippone, who's a very special fighter and a very special heavyweight, unfortunately loses. In my opinion, a BS decision to Joffrey Bouffard. I mean, it's clearly 3-3. I guess they just like that 27 punch round from Bouffard, the try-hard round in the 4th. I don't know. We did take more damage. It doesn't really seem fair. I mean, Bouffard's a power puncher. It's a tough, dangerous fight. I wish it wasn't a 6-rounder. If it was a 10-rounder, we would have had a better chance. Oscar Garcia gets knocked down in round 1, but comes back to get the finish. Very exciting heavyweight fight there against Quarles. Only 1 round, and Garcia gets a quick finish. They really slugged it out there. Garcia obviously took a big shot, but got up off the mat. Only kind of 1 flash knockdown. So yeah, that was just an aggressive, very pitched tilt right there, and Garcia came out the better man. Edwards versus Prado. Very even first 4 rounds. And then a big round for Prado. Watch out. We're going to jab and move here, Jose Edwards. And we are on the brink of getting stopped. How much power does Prado have? Not much. This is kind of weird. There. Okay, he doesn't throw a punch in that round. That's going to enable us to get back in this fight a little bit for sure. The volume has dropped off from Prado. Can Edwards chase a finish here? Edwards was such an impressive start to his career, starting 15-0. He's struggled since. And I am going to go for broke because I don't know if that's smart. On him 9% and us on 0. Let's maybe plan our feet. Edwards is a much better puncher. That didn't quite work. We lose on the first scorecard. We win on the second. We win on the third. And it's a narrow split decision for Jose Edwards. He escaped with that one. I don't know if he actually won that fight, but he did win enough rounds. It was a bad stretch here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong side. Wow, yeah, I really don't know if we did win that fight. We kind of stole it. We kind of stole it, especially these late rounds here where he really didn't punch much. Those points really ended up mattering. And I think providing double-digit volume and response in each of these 3 losses here, the 4th, 5th, and 6th, 14-11, 26-10 with those 4 power punches, but the 3 power punches in the 6th round, there are judges who might have given him that 6th round, and that's very important. So, yeah, Edwards escapes with a win there. That was a close fight. Lamont Williams versus Errol Etchard. Errol Etchard, a very qualified, defensive, accurate little sniper puncher here. Can Lamont Williams avoid taking too much damage? So far, he hasn't. Ooh, it's a good round there for Williams. We're going to jab and move. Lamont Williams does like some jab and move, and he is succeeding in taking energy off of Etchard and making Etchard the more tired fighter. And then just like that, the 12 power Errol Etchard just lands a KO punch and knocks Williams out cold. You do not like to see that. Let's take a look at Lamont Williams real quick. His 5th loss. Yeah. See, this is the kind of fighter I might cut. I mean, we don't have anybody in the featherweight division. He's got 9 weeks to heal from that injury and come back. It's just we have no other featherweights. That's really the only reason I'm keeping him. I think I would cut him otherwise. His skill set doesn't really impress me that much. He doesn't take punishment that well. He clearly loses too much. He's got 2 fights left on his contract. If he can put on an impressive performance in this next fight, sure. He had a nice start to his career. He has some good wins on his record, but he's not really that special of a fighter, I hate to say. Doesn't have any room to grow in terms of XP either. He's 32. It seems like a weight change up would have a very negative effect. That's not surprising. A weight change down seems to be a little bit less taxing, but a weight change down isn't what you would tend to necessarily think for an older and smaller fighter. I don't necessarily know that him cutting weight to super bantamweight would do any favors for him. I think his problem is that he isn't, unfortunately, is that he just isn't that good. He's a power puncher, and that's gotten him a long way, being able to knock people out. That definitely counts. It's boxing. Being able to knock people out is important, but it's only so important. It's only so important. And the chief supporting bout of the evening, Max Rice versus the big power punching Nicaraguan Glenn Alfaro. Can he escape head trauma? He can, and he can deal some right back. It's a first round KO, an impressive performance for Max Rice. That is a good indicator for our other super featherweight, Fred Morales, here against Herman Ruiz. As always, Morales looking to impress, and he usually does. Big damage in the first round, and he gets the finish in the second round after a bad start to the round. But he finds his range against Ruiz and puts him out, puts him down. And pretty effortless stuff there from our two super flyweight contenders. Good stuff. Good stuff. And we're going to have a couple title fights in the interim, actually. Let's see. Actually, 3 title fights in the interim before our next event. You know what? There's about 1 billion title fights before our next event. So, yeah, we're going to do those. First one, Mauricio Nunez versus a powerhouse at strawweight in Jesus Valenzuela. If this guy hasn't been a champion yet, that's a crime. That is a crime. He didn't even win the... Actually, he lost the North American strawweight title to Rob Hermosillo in what I'm sure was an absolutely crazy fight. Both of these guys incredibly talented. Can we sign Rob Hermosillo? He's probably too good. He's from New York. Yeah, no. He thinks we have insufficient pedigree. Yeah, he's a championship level guy for sure. I'd love to see that fight rematched. I think that might be one of the best fights at strawweight. But Nunez, oh, he's at flyweight. I see. Okay, never mind. He moved up. Hermosillo, rather, moved up to flyweight eventually. Maybe that's in the cards for either of these guys. Neither of them particularly large. 5'0" versus 5'1", but Valenzuela is the guy we really have our eye on here. Because he is a special talent. And it's a first round KO. Right as I say that, Jesus Valenzuela proving my scouting eye. Right there, landing a KO and taking home the strawweight world title. And Robert Bulacan undefeated, facing Edgar Daniel Valdez of Mexico. Does not take punishment well. Doesn't punch particularly accurately. Doesn't have a good chin and doesn't have good stamina. I am not seeing a really super elite title challenger. This seems like it's a bit of a walkover of a title defense for Robert Bulacan of the Philippines. Let's see how it goes. Valdez trying to prove me wrong in round 1 and in round 2. Bulacan comes into the fight a little bit at the end of round 2 and then lands a knockdown in round 3, and now Valdez is damaged. It's still good work from him. He's putting on a bold, valiant effort against the undefeated Bulacan. Bulacan just has big, powerful hands. Ooh, Valdez with some good work there in round 6. I don't know. Bulacan has all the energy and isn't even close to being knocked out. It's a banger of a round there. Bulacan clearly trying to layer on pressure. Valdez still standing on principle. It's just Valdez has provided so much volume in this fight. He might actually be winning this fight right now. But again, he's down on energy. That's what it took. He has given absolutely everything he has to try to stay in this fight up until this point. But Bulacan has pushed him to the brink. Bulacan gets a win in that round. It's a close round 10. It's a boring round 10. Is it just a round off for the Filipino? Will he come back and take the lead? He does come back and take the lead and take the victory in round 11. That was a valiant effort there from the La Paz, Mexico native Edgar Daniel Valdez in his world super lightweight title shot, but it is not enough to overcome the undefeated Robert Bulacan. It's just a cool fight. And Moreno gets the KO. Good job there from Luis Fernando Moreno, proving that his power punching, his ring IQ, overcomes the defensive skills of the Russian Zangief. Classic title fight boxing right there. Castro versus Richie Mulligan going to be next week. Martin Castro. A couple of big super flyweight title fights. These two, Martin Castro fighting for the IBF and WBO. These are the fighters who actually, I mean, Castro is the guy who is actually better than Fred Morales. That's it. And he's so small. He's absolutely tiny for a super flyweight. 4'11", 37, 63.7. Just flexing on people being up at super flyweight at that tiny size, but it doesn't matter. He absolutely crushes everyone. And my dream fight would be him against our super flyweight contender, Fred Morales, who we are giving a 7-fight contract. But let's get back into this super flyweight title picture, because I have a feeling that Fred Morales is going to be involved in this sooner or later. It's a shame Morales is already 31. But it's going to happen. He's going to get that shot. Castro versus Mulligan. And Castro with a very easy win, unsurprisingly, unshockingly, in round 2. Takuya versus Sanchez. And Sanchez does big damage to Takuya in the first round. I'm not terribly invested in this fight. It would be cool to see Michi Sanchez, a fighter we fought against, to get a title. For a minute, it didn't look too likely there. Takuya was ahead. But Sanchez coming back with a couple of rounds now. It's a big round from Takuya. Trouble for Sanchez. Takuya taking the lead in the fight now. Sanchez, big round back. But he still isn't ahead in the fight. That's good work. Man, this is a tough one to score. Sanchez had the start of the fight. He's had a couple rounds recently. He even looked good in the middle. It's hard for me to say that he isn't winning right now. But there's something about Takuya's presence in the fight, the way he's winning rounds, the way that he's staying through to the end of the fight, and the momentum that he had is what I was about to say. And that's the momentum right there. A one-punch KO to start round 11. Tsubasa Takuya puts away Michi Sanchez, and we are not going to get to see our former adversary lift the WBC and WBA belts in the air. All right, more title fights. Mario Ortiz versus Jalen Williams. Mario Ortiz, the current super bantamweight champion. Not a great chin, but he beat Takashi Nakajima to win the belt. And he's also got a win over Jordan Harvey. So a world champion and a pretty solid professional taking on Jalen Williams, a long-time grinder of this division. We could low-key just sign him, win this fight, and go like, look, we won a title. We won our first belt. He might actually sign with us. He's not. He's from Pittsburgh. And he's not signed by anybody. Oh, no. Insufficient pedigree. Yeah, we got to win a title, man. There's going to be some possibilities opened up to us when we win a title for sure. Fastest. And Ortiz defends his belts. Man, he does have really good hands. He's a good puncher. I'm sure he's got a really big fan base. And this is a good one. Sadar Yusupov versus Akateli Mai. These are two fighters that we've fought against. Two parts of the Andy Fitch story. Two of the fighters who have very strong roles in the downfall of Andy Fitch. Two of his more significant losses from this division come at the hands of these two men. Or did he not fight Sardar Yusupov? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, guys. He fought Christian Usanov, not Sardar Yusupov. But Mai is a big part of the story of Fitch's downfall. And I'm sure that if Fitch would have fought Sardar Yusupov, he would have lost, just like he lost, unfortunately, seemingly every single big fight of his entire career, including the fight against Tony Seals. It is kind of getting depressing at this point for Flick the Switch. I mean, one sec. We're just talking about Andy Fitch again now, but Andy Fitch is a big part of the story of this save so far. Yeah, he has a lot of losses. Donnelly, at a certain point, his losses were strong. Donnelly, Usainov, and Seals. And then the loss to Mendez isn't terrible either, but... And then Hoon. And then Mai is even understandable, but this last Robles loss wasn't great. He's fighting really strong competition. It's not really fair. He's still the North American champion, which is cool. Andy Fitch. Hopefully we don't lose that. Let's watch this. Speaking of championships, can we give Ramiro Rodriguez a new contract? He's not that bad. You know what? I was just gonna... Yeah, I'm just gonna see. He's got 2 fights left. All right, Yusupov versus Mai. Even first 2 rounds. Mai takes the third, takes the lead in the fight, now chasing the finish in the fourth. Yusupov, who, by the way, I should be announcing this with a little more drama. He's 47-0 and undefeated. He's very close to being the first 50-0 fighter in the save, and has Father Time finally come knocking for Sardar Yusupov? Have his skills finally atrophied enough that a young upstart contender and Akateli Mai can come through and knock him out? He's going to have to find some magic here. He's almost TKO'd. Wow, Mai had some good volume there at the start of that round. It looked like he might be able to chase the finish, but ultimately Yusupov is able to shed off some of the damage there in that 6th round. Round 7 is a huge round for Mai, and this is Akateli Mai's fight right now. Are you kidding me? Sardar Yusupov is the greatest fighter in the history of the world. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. That's like Muhammad Ali level GOAT shit right there. Off the back foot in the 8th round, just completely down in the fight. Losing the fight in every way, shape, and form. Losing that round badly. Actually, he lost the round before badly and was losing that round bad as well. 20-6 and losing this round 18-10. No ring control at all. Just steps off the back foot and knocks out Akateli Mai with 1 punch. This is a legendary fighter we're looking at. If he gets to 50-0, like, that is the moment. That is the biggest test he has ever had in the ring. And he overcame it in grand style. And still, WBA, WBO, super welterweight title holder, Sardar Yusupov, 48-0, his 40th career knockout, and what a way to get it. That's going to be on highlight reels for a long time. Oh, man. What a KO for Sardar Yusupov. Round of applause. That's why we watch those title fights. That was an incredible moment. If some people don't like me watching random title fights from around the world, I mean, first off, the developer is called Fight Worlds, so I'm doing my job. Even though I don't work for the developer, but also, like, moments like that can happen. I mean, what's going to happen here between Danny Snow and Mikhail Kondolidze of Georgia? Danny Snow, of course, a great champion with the big hands. He gets knocked down up at 1. It's a flash knockdown. Maybe he lost that round. Maybe he won it. He did so much damage, 26 punches. Now he's chasing the finish. Lots of volume there to end off round 3. And then he gets the finish late in round 4. Round of applause for Danny Snow. I continue to like Danny Snow. I want to see him fight James Ray. If James Ray gets to 50-0 and doesn't fight Danny Snow, it doesn't really make any sense to me. He's got to try to unify. He's fighting Michael O'Malley. That's an okay fight. Michael O'Malley can fight a little bit. Which one of our guys did he beat? He beat David Flores. Yeah. He's not a great puncher, but he is great at everything else. Do we want to watch this? No. It's a good fight, actually. It's only for 1 super lightweight title, but no, I'm going to pass. And we're going to give Jose Edwards a new contract. Thank goodness, he has earned it. He's had a little bit of a struggle lately. Maybe a move up to cruiserweight is on the cards if he loses another fight, because he's still very talented. I keep clicking on that. And we're going to go to our own event. Ricardo ahead in the fight and chasing the finish. It's an 8-rounder, so we've got 2 rounds here to pile on pressure. And there is the finish. Oh, never mind. There's no finish. He just completely destroyed him. He won an 8-round fight by 11 points. That's a beating. Jesus Cardo 9-0. Todd Lopez against Hector Romero. Lopez gets the stoppage in round 3. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba, ba. Easy win there for Todd Lopez. I'm a big Todd Lopez fan at bantamweight. Really good punch accuracy guy. Dimash Sarnoy needs to keep piling up wins to prove to me that I am right to keep the big boy. Because people question the big boy. They really do. They question him quite a bit. Oh, God. Because here he goes again, getting punched. He needs to use his size. He needs to move. He needs to be far away from the other guy. He needs to use the ring. Who won? I couldn't even tell. That was so chaotic. We lost. So he knocked us down first. Then we got up. Yeah, we got knocked down first. We get up at the count of 8. So not good. Then we knock him down. He gets up at the count of 3. So a little better. We landed a big shot and knocked him down, which is pretty fun and interesting. But we can't really come back. He landed the bigger knockdown and had the more damage on us anyway. We had him down to the end of his energy, but that's unfortunate. And I think this is a bridge too far for me here with Dimash Sarnoy. I think I'm done with him. The 90-inch reach is fun. The size is fun. He'll be an interesting guy in the heavyweight division for a while. Where is he? Did his contract just expire? Oh, no, he's right there. He's going to be an interesting guy in the heavyweight division for a while, but not as a part of our stable. I also think he'll be a good guy to get wins off of. Like, to be honest, he loses so much. And there's always so much talent at heavyweight. We can bring in a new big heavyweight, no problem. There's plenty of those. Raymond Pena in trouble here against Charles Mawale, who's a tough fighter. Really aggressive, scrappy fighter. I think we go on and cover up a little early here. He's still beating us. We need to chill here. It's an even round 5. We get knocked down in round 6. I don't like this for Pena. It's another terrible round. I'm just going to go for broke here in round 8. We get a knockdown. Okay. I'm going to stay. And we get 2 knockdowns. I'm going to go to pile on pressure because we're going to go for broke in the last round there. We get knocked down. And this is such an insane fight that we're just going to go on fast. I have no clue how you score this. At this point, Mawale is, yeah, he's winning. He's won every round but 1. So we got to get a KO. Or we're going to have to start talking about that Raymond Pena weight change again. But both fighters are so damaged that if Pena truly does go for broke here, he can get a stoppage. It's a minute and a half left. Mawale hasn't thrown a punch. Pena continuing to pour forward, but the power punches aren't there. And it's a knockdown. He's got to not get up for us to win this fight, and he does get up. Can we get the stoppage? The referee stops it with 18 seconds left, and Raymond Pena pulls it out of the fire. What a win there for Raymond Pena. An utterly insane fight. He took so much damage in that fight and got the win. He lost every round of that fight up until the 8th. He may have won round 5, but who cares? He didn't really win a round until round 8. When he landed 2 knockdowns, responding to Mawale's knockdown in the 6th. Mawale with a knockdown in the 9th, and then we get the final knockdown where he does not make the count in round 10. Just an exhausting battle of a fight. And Raymond Pena comes out on top. 19-1. How you like that? Frankie Edwards versus Dmitry Matveyev. I can speak. Round 1. Knockdown for Frankie. Gets up at the count of 9. A slow start to the round, but Frankie, they settle in, start exchanging, and Frankie gets another knockdown, and it's a knockout this time. Frankie Edwards. Still kind of magical. I mean, look at the attributes. He's just got a little magic to him, no? I think it's partially maybe he's just the right size for the weight. 6 feet and 78-inch reach is pretty important. But there's just, I mean, maybe it's the 20 aggression. He doesn't even have good defense, man. He's just kind of magic. He just wins fights, man. He just knows how to win. He's one of those fighters. Speaking of knowing how to win, being one of those fighters, Brian Mitchell, 13-0. Show me. Show me your victory. I feel like an evil, like Roman emperor. There we go. Brian Mitchell, 14-0. My gladiator. Conquer all. Randy Dale versus Henry Tafer. Randy Dale really should be a factor in the middleweight division. I'm tired of the Randy Dale slander. Randy Dale is the most underrated fighter. Like, I mean, Seals is horrifically underrated. He needs more chances. He needs more title shots. But we also have Randy Dale, who's right in the same boat. It's really just a testament to how loaded the middleweight division is. And Randy Dale. I mean, I'm so fired up for Seals versus Palacios. This is going to be a big step up for Tony Seals if he wins this fight. Darius Mitchell versus Godson Hernandez. It's a crazy first round. It's a knockdown for Hernandez and a response back with a knockdown for Mitchell. The stats end up almost identical. Hernandez, the much closer fighter to being stopped in his knockdown. It's a very good start to the round for Hernandez, and then a great counterpunch drops Hernandez late in the second. Not much work there from Mitchell, but a big knockdown. He's going to chase the finish, and unfortunately, the finish is going to go to Godson Hernandez. Mitchell chased, but he chased a little too hard. He went after it for a long time in that round, but Hernandez ended up with a strong counterpunch. Wobbled Mitchell and then followed through with good work for the rest of the round. And even though Mitchell was able to counterpunch that work and damage him very heavily, Hernandez came through with the stoppage. Hernandez proving to be a power puncher despite many losses on his record. Darius Mitchell, at this point, can absolutely say the same. He's a 6-loss fighter, but with that pedigree, with that record, we're holding on to him. There's nothing wrong with Darius Mitchell. A weight change might be in order, but I don't really mind him. I think his size is good for welterweight. As we're going to sign some new contracts. Probably will edit this out. Making a lot of efforts to make the videos shorter. But we're going to give out new contracts to everybody except Ramiro Rodriguez, who needs one. Tony Ali versus Manny Rodriguez. Tony Ali piling forward, and he is 5-0. Easy win there for Ali. Wendy Rice versus Bruno Hill. Rice wins the fight. 3-0. That was easy. Eben Rodriguez versus Jamel Webster. Jamel Webster, very strong opposition here for Eben Rodriguez. And he is injured his right hand in the first round. He's in danger of losing his undefeated record. Took really heavy damage there in round 1. Connects the first shot here in round 2. We're going to watch it on slower because I'm worried about Rodriguez's undefeated mark. Big shots by Rodriguez. He's knocked out every opponent he's faced in the professional ring so far. Landing big shots to end the round. That's a better round from Eben Rodriguez. He has ended both rounds damaged as we head to round 3. They're really hurting each other here. Rodriguez battering Webster. Rodriguez still in trouble, and Webster knocks him down. Will Rodriguez get up? Or is his undefeated record at an end? He gets up at the count of 9. He's still technically in this fight. There's a power punch. Finally finding some volume. Rodriguez needing to stay in the fight. Needing to use his offense to stay in the fight, and the referee stops it. And Eben Rodriguez's undefeated record is a thing of the past, the hands of Jamel Webster. It was an important step up for Rodriguez, and he did not prove himself in the way I'm sure his many fans would have hoped. He's still a talented fighter, but that takes punishment was always going to be an issue, and he met a stiff challenge there in Jamel Webster. Perhaps should have used the reach a little more in that fight, but you always risk of losing in the heavyweight division. We're going to boost that takes punishment. Maybe we should have done that before the fight. Maybe we should have done that before the fight. My mistake. Misplay. That's a misplay. I don't know. I doubt how much it would have helped. That was a pretty dreadful performance for even Rodriguez. Nobody ever blames the complete lack of punching in any of these losses. It's kind of a theme in a lot of the fights we lose. Gabriel McCreary, fan favorite, former title challenger we have not heard much of, but a very hard worker in the gym. An excellent fighter with a pretty excellent track record. I'm pretty confident he's going to take care of business here against Bobby Esco, who's a smart fighter, provides volume in that round, so we'll jab and move, make him chase us, and that's a good decision. We go back to natural style in round 4, and we get the KO. McCreary, loving that natural style. Hey, do whatever you want. Okay, knocks him out. McCreary, another win. And Tony Seals versus Uriel Palacios. This is a very high-level, championship-level opponent for Tony the Real Deal Seals. This is one of the highest-level fights, I believe, of the entire safe so far, and easily a championship-level fight. You could just throw a belt at this fight, no problem. I think in real boxing they would. They'd make this some interim BS. This is way too good of a fight. This thing would absolutely be on DAZN in real life. Are you kidding me? Tony Seals. 10-8 round and start of round 2. It's a good start for Palacios. Palacios continuing to come forward. It's a good round 2 for Uriel Palacios. And Seals powering forward. Palacios Seals just not providing volume. There we go. Finally some punches from Seals. He may have stolen the round. Didn't have a lot of ring control. But that's a solid round 3 from Tony Seals. We're going to stay on natural style. It just feels like we have the slightly better of this fight right now. Still landing power punches. Although it isn't an exchange. Palacios still landing. A bad cut over the left eye from Seals and blood coming from the nose. But Seals landing big power shots. Never mind. He doesn't care. He's got the heavier damage, but he's landing way more power punches on Palacios, which is a little concerning. But he does have those cuts. That's probably part of the reason. We are definitely ahead in this fight. I'm fine with natural style still. I will trust Tony Seals' talent. He is a very talented fighter. It's a bad start to this round, perhaps predictably. Palacios has had a lot of ring control. There's a big shot to the head from Seals. That was a big punch. Turned the fight. Oh, but Palacios didn't like it. He comes back with strikes. He may have stolen that round. He probably did win that round, but Seals, now the less damaged fighter. Really good shots by Seals. Let me just check something. I don't know how well jab and move would work. Go to the body. Feels like it'd be a little bit risky. He's not the most accurate puncher. Let's do it. Let's do it. We can probably get in and get out before he can hit us a few times. Let's see if Seals can work to the body and really wear out Palacios. But go to the body can just kill you sometimes. Especially against fighters that like to provide volume. There we go. There we go. Heavy punches landing from Seals, and it's not too much back from Palacios. We might have been right. It's really excellent work to the body there from Seals in that round. And Palacios is now definitely the more tired fighter. Go back to natural style. Palacios lands the first punches, but it's the first power punch from Seals. Seals really fighting an excellent fight. Lots of power punching. It's hard for me to not see him as the winner right now. I'd feel definitely robbed if we went to the scorecards and Palacios was declared the winner. I think this is a Tony Seals fight right now. We're gonna stay on natural style and just keep maybe a pile-on pressure in the back pocket. There's a big power punch from Palacios. More power punching from Palacios. Uh-oh. Seals needs to respond. He isn't really. Couple little jabs. There's a power punch. There's a combination from Seals. Walk into the middle of the ring and exchanging. I like it. Seals almost evens that round back up. I don't know if we're ahead in the fight or not. I think we are. I'm going to stay on natural style and save that pile-on pressure for the final round. It's a good start to the round for Palacios, which I don't like to see, but Seals now responding. Seals has done such a good fight. He's got a broken nose. He's had such a good fight, though. He's done such a good job of always responding when Palacios comes forward with pressure that would wilt other fighters. He's just stood right up to him. But that's a loss of a round right there. We are the more damaged man. Would cover up be smarter here? I might regret it. I might regret it, but here's my reasoning. He's going to try to come after us. He's down in the fight. I think still he's down in the fight. That's only 4 rounds I'm counting. We're up 5-4. He's low on energy. He's going to come out with that frenetic energy with the last of his energy. He's going to really chase a finish here in this round, and we need to counterpunch. And so far, that's working. I expect Palacios to provide more volume in this round. I expect Seals to do the power punching and not get knocked out. And instead, he's just taken the lead in this round. And yeah, Palacios doesn't know what to do. Seals with a great final round. Judge 1 scores it for us. Judge 2, it's a draw. But Judge 3, by majority decision, by 1 single point. Tony, the real deal, Seals. What a win. What a gritty, determined win for Tony Seals against a former reputable title challenger who really gave him all he could handle. A blood coming from his nose, a broken nose, a big cut over his eye, and he just got through every bit of adversity. Every time Palacios started piling on some form of pressure, Tony Seals had an answer. Fought like an absolute champion tonight. 33-3-2. Where is my title shot for Tony Seals? He's only had 1. It feels like that Tony Seals that blew that title shot, because he only ever had 1 title shot, and it was not a good performance at all. We all remember that. He's still only 25. Like, Andy Fitch is like 32 or 33 or something. He's still only 25. And look at all these North American title shots, too. That one fight against Raskar Wade, he just wilted under the pressure. He's such a different fighter now. It's been 3 years. I think we have every right to expect a different Tony Seals in his next title shot. And I'm very excited for if and when that ever happens. We have a lot of fights to schedule right now, so I'm going to get to that. All right, let's take a look at what we scheduled. 3 shows in 3 weeks, all at the New York Convention Center. The first card, Steven Ervin versus Dmitry Matveyev. Matveyev, a top-ranked and a little bit of an overrated super middleweight that I think Ervin can knock off and knock out pretty easily. Very high-level light heavyweight prospect fight. Maybe the highest level prospect fight we've had the entire save. Manuel Soto versus Ari Singh-Phantom. This is an incredibly high level light heavyweight tilt here between one of the best, the number 1 ranked fighter in Asia, in the light heavyweight division, and number 4 in North America, and a top ranked number 9 global contender, Manuel Soto. This is a very high-level light heavyweight fight, actually, between 2 fighters without very many professional fights in the ring. Williams hoping to pick another win. It's a decent challenge against Mauro Ortiz. Rico Hartman taking on the African champion at super middleweight, Patrick Ashinde. Rigoberto Grant going to get a warm-up against Stevens Hutchinson, who can be a tough challenge. Jose Edwards against a tough puncher in Joseph Esquibio. So there's some decent challenges here for our guys on this card. But at the end, I do expect to come out of that card with nothing but wins, to be honest. Especially the main event. I would love it if Steven Ervin can make quick work of Matveyev. Randy Dale versus Diego Baez. Diego Baez, same deal. Kind of an overrated contender. Bad defender. Accurate puncher. Good stamina. So he's going to give us a tough fight. But he's got a weak chin. And I just need Randy Dale to knock out more contenders so he can finally get some respect in the middleweight division, where he's been doing good work for his entire career. Cotrill versus Afachat Otaneru. This is a tough fight for Otaneru, who is a former title challenger. He has challenged both James Ray and Danny Snow. He gave James Ray one of his best fights of all time, we remember. A lot of people in Oceania and Australia believe that he won that fight. He really did give James Ray maybe a better run for his money than anyone, and now he's taking on our tactical heavyweight in Ricardo Cotrill, who will have both a size, stamina, and a ring IQ disadvantage, and a punch accuracy disadvantage. So this is going to be a tough assignment for Cotrill, but I do believe he can win it and reestablish himself as a heavyweight contender. Believe me, it's the heavyweight division. The other options were a lot worse. Frankie Edwards and Fatim Abramyan. That should be a win for Frankie Edwards. There were tougher assignments for them out there. I think, yeah, he could have fought Man, who was it? Yeah, he could have fought Frankie Edwards, which is an insanely difficult fight. Ervin versus Edwards. I mean, that would be an insane in-house fight, but it wouldn't really be good for either fighter. It's way too difficult of an opponent for both of them. So we've got them spread out on this card, both taking easier wins, and I think that's the much smarter thing to do than to really match them up each other for effectively no real reason other than my own entertainment. Kareem Ramos versus Charles DeLuke. That's a very even fight. Garcia with a challenging one against Blake Acevedo, and Ramiro Rodriguez with a good young heavyweight test against a high level heavyweight in Mike Quattorochi, who has fought a lot of guys who've been up at championship level. And speaking of guys who fought for a heavyweight title before, Andy Conwell is famous for this loss to Danny Snow. I was sure he'd fought James Ray. He hasn't. He did lose to Danny Snow. That may have been Danny Snow's first title defense. 3 straight draws here to Oteneru Grujic, who fought for a championship, which that's a great draw. The fact that he drew uh, to Tadija Grujic is kind of crazy. Tadija Grujic was at a time one of the better heavyweights and also gave James Ray a good fight before getting knocked out. So it's impressive that Conwell was able to go to a decision with him. This is an impressive heavyweight. Anyway, Carol Bavrin is a very good win and a very good heavyweight. So a good challenge for David Flores. And that should be a very fun fight. On the co-main, I really thought extensively about scheduling Fred Morales against Max Rice. I ultimately decided against it because I didn't want to do that to Max Rice. So I'll give Max Rice a tough test, but Fred Morales is more of a death sentence and less of a tough test, and I would rather just add another win to Morales' record in the form of a top 50 warm-up opponent, while essentially we wait for better ranked opponents at super flyweight to show up. If we're forced to fight Max Rice, maybe we make that in the next fight. If Max Rice takes yet another loss, maybe I'll be a little more comfortable. But right now, Max Rice's career is in the ascendancy, and I don't want to put him up against Fred Morales when I don't have to. Ramos is going to take on Bredican to get an easy win. Andy Fitch still trying to get back in the win column. It's a decently tough fight against a young guy and Andre Siegler, but there's no height advantage there for Ziegler, like there usually is against Fitch. Rice going to take on a decent tough comer in Caesar Brown. Todd Lopez versus Fausto Silix from Portugal, the first fighter from Portugal I've seen in Derek Flores, the prospect. Hopefully going to get an easy win against Terrence Ornelas. Do we have one more event that we've booked? No, we only booked 3. So we signed a new fighter, Raul Williams. He's a cruiserweight. I moved him down to cruiserweight. He was a heavyweight. I moved him down to cruiserweight. He's 6'3", 81.4 inch reach, which is an excellent reach for this weight class, and he's very big for the weight. Not a ton of remaining potential, but you can believe that if we get it, it's going right into ring IQ, because that's his biggest drawback. His ring IQ and intelligence are both very low. So let's see if he can get anything done in the cruiserweight division. My expectations aren't exactly high. He's what I would describe as a project fighter. Right now, he is a project for sure, and we're just going to keep on scouting. Jonathan Guerrero, I've thought about extensively. I'm not going to sign him. He's from Grand Rapids, Michigan, same place as Floyd Mayweather. Very powerful puncher, but he's not an accurate puncher. He doesn't take punishment well. He doesn't have good intelligence. His stamina is terrible. On the canvas is bad. His conditioning isn't good. There's just too many drawbacks, man. He's dirty, but nah, sorry. I'm just not going to do it. Yeah, we're going to continue the theme of being picky. And just not sign anybody else, to be honest. Raul Williams is all I can find right now. Let's take a look at our amateurs. And we're going to have to turn to signing amateurs to find anybody else. And no, none of our amateurs are ready to sign right now. You can see some of the records. Matthew Ganaway having fun with a 7-2 mark. Saddam Williams at 8-6. Interesting. Leroy Barria. Yeah, okay. Interesting to see how Michael Sosa does. Let's sign some more amateurs here. I love this dude. We're gonna sign Jesse Brandt from Los Angeles, California. That's an awesome name. 6'5" light heavyweight. How about it? Yes, sir. No problem. There was another light heavyweight from New York. I completely forgot his name. I don't care about that dude compared to Jesse Brandt. Let's go. Get in here, Jesse. Knock some people out for us. Let's see how many more fighters we can sign. Where was he? It was Sebastian Martinez from Tucson, Arizona. We're going to try to sign this guy. A little bit of a short reach. Ah, we don't have the influence points. Pain. After all that, do not have the influence points, but we do bring in a pretty good young featherweight. And you know what? Um so it wasn't the most successful scouting mission. Um and I'm honestly not happy about that at this point in the save. It still just seems like we're a little far away from the point of success where we should be at. I mean, Tony Seals can get a title fight when he gets off the injured list in 6 weeks and, knock out whoever he gets, whatever insane middleweight champion he's got to fight, knocks that guy out, and then we're at championship level and everything's cool. But I'm sick of not making enough progress. This is episode 19, maybe even episode 20 right now. And I want to open a new gym. I want to open a new gym in Canada. That's what I want to do. And give us access to a whole new country, right? Put us right in Toronto. Right in the biggest city in Toronto, Canada. MPC Canada. Smoke that ute. You better go smoke that ute. Smoke that ute. Smoke that ute gym. No, that's what we're calling it. We're calling it Smoke that ute gym, eh? Hey, if the business is true that you left your moms in the hood, hey, somebody go smoke that ute. Somebody go smoke that ute, eh? Go Leafs. Smoke that ute, eh, gym. No offense to Canadians. No offense meant at all. I love the Maple Leafs. I love your team. They provide me wonderful entertainment in the playoffs. Year on year on year. When my Rangers let me down, I know you guys have my back. To be I know I can watch Mitch Marner just like, I can't even imagine what that man's heart rate must be. In like game 7, oh no, don't close it, don't close it, don't close it. Karma almost closed it for me. I'm just sitting here ripping into Canada. If we can sign Trent Flint, excuse me, never mind. I cancel all the Canada roasting. Trent Flint. Trent, I can't stop saying it, please. Trent Flint? Bro, this episode is going to be called Trent Flint. Do you understand me? The name of all time. I'm going to be sitting in the shower coming up with nicknames, bro. I'm going to be lying in bed staring at the ceiling thinking of a nickname. I haven't even thought about the man's skill set. I barely care. This man could maybe go 0-15, and I might keep him at the promotion. I might tank my own record and reputation for this man. Trent Flint? Yes. Thank you. He's a southpaw. Of course he is. Counter-punching southpaw Trent Flint. If he was from Flint, Michigan, I would flip over backwards. I would lose my mind. The Flint. Come on. We will have a nickname. Trent Flint will have a nickname, and it will be glorious. It will be amazing. You trust me. Get that defense up. We're going to get your punch accuracy up. Trent Flint's going to be the world champion. You're going to see. You'll all see one day. He's small enough he could maybe move down to cruiserweight. And the low defense. But he's got good takes punishment. And he can punch the lights out. So yeah. We're going to keep him at heavy. Let's just check. Ooh. Wow. It's got a positive effect on punch power if he moves down. I think we might be moving Trent Flint to cruiserweight. What's his stamina? 11. It might just go down to 10. And yeah, his chin isn't great. His intelligence is low. This guy's going to get bodied as a heavyweight professional. There's too many good young professional heavyweight prospects. I think I'm going to start getting into the business of moving smaller heavyweights just down, especially if they don't have good defense. I'm all for a small heavyweight But he's got to have good defense, and this guy does not have good defense. And yeah, the 20 punching power is still very much there. So I expect it to stay there for the remainder of his career, regardless of what happens to Trent Flint. But names are the name of the game, and Trent Flint's got a name. Oh, he does. That's my favorite name of the day. Trent Flint. Oh, I guess he didn't even get signed to the Canadian gym. He got signed to one of our New York gyms. That's whoops. Whoopsie. Well, you know what? He's happy. 2 thumbs up. So smoke that, Yuri. No offense. No offense to anyone from Canada. This guy's also good from Oshawa. From Oshawa, Canada. Isn't the Oshawa hockey team called the Generals? I kind of want to call him Norm the General Zuski. Oh, that goes hard. Yeah, we're signing this dude. Norm the General Zuski. Let's go. General Zuski. Get in here. See? This game is a legend printer. It just prints the legends. These guys are walking into the gym legends. Norm Zuski and Trent Flint. Hello? Is this a hockey team? Is this a hockey team? Is this my third line? Yeah, bro. We got Zuski and Flint on the third line. Zuski, Williams, and Flint. That's our third line. See, he's even got C for center. This is a hockey game. You guys thought this was Boxing Manager? No, this is a hockey video game. Norm Zuski, dude. Let's go. I'm giving him the nickname right away. Where is it? Hold up. Edit names. The General. The General. General Zuski. Yes, sir. He's big. You know, he's big. He's not gonna move down. He's got bad defense and a bad chin. And bad conditioning. So he might lose some fights up here at heavyweight. He might get KO'd. That chin might be in danger. But you know what? I believe in Norm Zuski for now. He's an aggressive, accurate punching psychopath. It's funny, a guy with good punching accuracy and low defense. That's kind of funny. I don't think that's hard to kind of imagine what that would look like in real life. What kind of a fighter that would be like. Who's a fighter like that in real life? I can't really even think of one. Because if that was your skill set, you would get KO'd so fast. Like, you don't have good punch power, but you don't have good defense either. You're just really accurate with your punches. I mean, punch accuracy is so broken in this game, though, man. Who knows? Punch accuracy in this game is so broken. But this is why I opened this Canadian gym. And I signed another one not to the Canadian gym. I just accidentally signed with the American gym again. I swear we're actually going to remember to flip over in the menu and sign the guy to the gym. And stop closing the gym every time I try to click on it. Johnny Hogan. It's funny. There's some good things like around the edges here, like the ring IQ, good punching power, but I just don't like it. I don't like the way it all comes together. I'd like a welterweight to have a little more punching accuracy, maybe a little more aggression, at least some defense. I don't know. Michael Margolin, no. No, he's not that good. So unfortunately, we don't sign anybody to the new Canadian gym. But we can probably sign Canadian amateurs. And we'll be able to sign Canadian fighters in the future to that gym. It's just an honest mistake. I think even when we go to renew their contracts, we can renew them to the Canadian gym. So we'll just do that. And I'm definitely not going to call it the Smoke That UA gym every time, okay? Again, no disrespect meant to anyone from Canada. Check out the rankings. Flores still way up there. Kind of went fast through some of that. Trent Flint ranked #1 in the world. Jasuba Takuya wins Fighter of the Year. Have we talked about this guy? Super flyweight. He's got 10 losses. This dude won Fighter of the Year. He knocked out Michi Sanchez. Notorious figure in the save. I don't know about Fighter of the Year. I really don't know about Fighter of the Year for this guy. That seems like a little bit of a stretch. I feel like they should probably have just gone to any of like the transcendental superstars at the top of the pound for pound rankings in the sport and given it to one of them. I mean, you could have given it to Amperan, Ray, Yusupov, Castro. I feel like every one of those guys has fought 3 times this year and won all of them. Although that's a little goofy. There's about 1 billion people they could have given it to above Tsubasa Takuya. But hey, his name is enshrined in history forever now. And we're getting a couple guys off the list in a week, so we're going to be able to make another event. And I fear I just missed a couple title fights, maybe. But we'll see the results. And Jose Hainsworth knocks off Don Reyes. Wow. Don Reyes, all that work against Adam Lovett he did in a couple classic fights to win and defend that belt after 2 devastating losses to Lerna Kapachev. And now loses to Jose Hainsworth, who, wow. Low aggression. Decent defense, 13, but that right column. Very, very gritty fighter. Skillful boxer is his description. Pretty big for a light heavyweight. But man, to be almost the undisputed, well, he is the undisputed champion, actually. He is the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. He has 798 fans. Man, he came from pretty much nothing. But he's got a few good results against undefeated fighters here. He's fought a lot of fights against undefeated fighters. He is the guy who beat Jose Edwards. That's right. He took Jose Edwards' 0. Actually, no, he took his 1. He was the second loss for Edwards. The only guy to knock out Edwards, though, after Edwards' first loss being a controversial decision. So, it's at least good for our fighter, Jose Edwards, for his reputation that his only loss, or his only TKO loss, is to the current undisputed champion in Jose Hainsworth, who is those are his attributes rather. But again, it shows that 19 ring IQ and 20 intelligence. That's really all it tells you. He could keep that. He could keep that. He's a good fighter. Michael O'Malley. Oh man, we missed a historic result here. Wow, wow, wow. James Ray. He is not going to get that 50-0. Michael O'Malley. And you know what? You can be mad that I hit the button, but it wasn't close. I mean, you can just have picked up the newspaper the next day and read, James Ray washed up. Right? Because that's what we just saw unfold in front of our eyes. We know Michael O'Malley is a good fighter. Like, make no mistake. He's shown that to the guys in our stable. He beat David Flores fair and square. He went the full distance with Ramotswana. He beat Carol Favrin. He's got good wins on his record. Margenis. Obviously, Flores is a good win. Unseating James Ray like that is a little unexpected for a guy with a 35% KO ratio. But he doesn't get stoppages, and he didn't need to because he dominated that fight wire to wire against a much larger man in James Ray. Not much larger, actually. James Ray only 6'2", never mind. But those 230 million fans are about to fall off a little bit in the Boston crowd. I'm sure left stunned from a lackluster performance by James Ray. Wow. I wish we would have watched it, but we didn't miss a terrible amount. But it is one of the harder James Ray title defenses. But man, he almost did it. He almost got to 15-0, man, but that's hard as a heavyweight. That's hard as a heavyweight. It'll be interesting to see if James Ray can ever get back on top. But, I mean, 120 to 103. Michael O'Malley, that fight wasn't close. That fight wasn't close. Michael O'Malley really took it to James Ray. And we're going to keep watching title fights here because there's a few title fights, and we just missed some big ones. And I'd like to have a big title fight section here in this video. Gonsalves versus Little. Dwayne Little showing up in a title fight for about the 400 billionth time. This time as a cruiserweight. I think he was a light heavyweight. Yeah, he was. He was absolutely a light heavyweight. Fighting for the WBA strap about 487,000 times, like we said. Everybody loves a good Dwayne Little fight. That Mehdi Yusupov fight was an absolute stone-cold classic. And now he's back at championship level finally at cruiserweight after beating Slajan Filipovic. And Dwayne Little is going to fight Nathan Gonsalves. 23-1-2. Cruiserweight champion, 5'10". Just took undefeated Junior Agapito Abreu's belt. I'm a little surprised Agapito Abreu didn't get a rematch. He's going to fight Gadjevic, which is a dangerous fight, an undefeated 13-0 Southpaw. The cruiserweight division is so loaded, man. The cruiserweight division is so loaded. Gonçalves just drew Anthony Rios, actually, by the way. Did he? No, Gonçalves didn't draw Anthony Rios. That was some other fighter. Gonçalves just fought Agapito Abreu. We knew that. That was a glitch. Some other fighter fought Abreu. Ignore that. I mean, Rios. Fought Rios. Ignore that. So anyway, this is a crazy fight between a 23-1 fighter and a 27-2 fighter for the Cruiserweight Championship. And the Cruiserweight division continues to just provide entertainment. It's the first fight we've actually watched, at least during this recording session for me. We should be a couple hours into the video by now. Gonçalves out to a lead. Doing more damage to Little. Little up a weight class from where we've seen him before. He's taken a lot of damage. He finally manages to deal a little damage back to Gonçalves, and Little takes the lead in that round, but he's just been battered for most of the fight. And Gonçalves is doing more work and more damage, but it's a good comeback round there from Little in the 10th. The 11th, it's a big round for Gonçalves, and he can look to close the show here in the last round. Dwayne Little has not done enough to win this fight. Gonçalves should see this out, whether he loses this round. He did lose the round, but it didn't matter. Whoops. It didn't matter. And Nathan Gonçalves, and still the WBC IBF World Cruiserweight title holder, and Dwayne Little, is going to have to go back to the drawing board in this division. Maybe a move back down to light heavyweight is in order, or a move up to heavyweight. Who knows? We're going to skip that title fight and head right into Luis Rodriguez. Is this another cruiserweight title fight? No, this is next week. And Adolf Wolf looks horrible, bro. He's got no chin, no on the canvas. Why is this guy fighting Yangmin Park? If this guy beats Yangmin Park, I'll be very surprised. It's for 2 belts. And there's a 2-belt straw weight fight. Is that the same? Yeah, these are both next week. Okay. Okay, we're going to do Rodriguez versus Lee. Rodriguez versus Lee here. 2 undefeated fighters. Xiaofeng Li, 16-0 with 16 knockouts. Other than the defensive skills and the stamina, this guy is one of the best fighters in the world. This guy is a tremendous, tremendous fighter. It's a shame he's 31. Little old. If he was like 23, I'd be freaking out about him being one of the all-time greats. But look at this. As a flyweight, flyweight, dude, a 100% KO percentage in 3.8 rounds. This man has death in his right hand. Be very, very afraid. This is one of the best punchers in the world in Xiaofeng Li. And Luis Rodriguez does not have the power in his hands that Lee has. He's a defensive wizard. This is a fascinating fight. This is one of the more intrinsically fascinating fights of the entire save. This man knocked out 50-4 Sungmin Cha. We have seen a lot of Luis Rodriguez's title defenses. He is unquestionably one of the #1 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. It says #1 global. I'm not sure if that's pound for pound. I think that's just flyweight. He's unquestionably the #1 flyweight in the world. Luis Rodriguez right here. Let's see where he is in the pound-for-pound rankings. 13. That's a little underrated, in my opinion. But let's see. He's going to have a big challenge here in Xiaofeng Li. This is one of my most anticipated non-stable title fights of the entire save. I think this has a really high potential to be a classic with Lee's power versus Rodriguez's defense. It's been a good start for Rodriguez. Lee needs to find his range and get to work. And it hasn't happened so far. It's a good first round for Luis Rodriguez. Xiaofeng Li off to a good start in round 2, but it's a comeback for Rodriguez, throwing concussive counterpunches. Nothing doing here. Lee with a heavy shot. Rodriguez counters back. Rodriguez lands a combination. It's a big shot from Lee. Rodriguez with a counter shot. Rodriguez gives him a big one. Lee won that round, but Rodriguez did some good work and landed some big shots there. Rodriguez landing another big shot to start the round. Lee countering. They're going back and forth. Lee lands a combo. Rodriguez lands a counter punch. Rodriguez lands a combo. Lee with a couple punches. Rodriguez with a big shot. That's a very close round. 12-11. Rodriguez, slow start to the round. Rodriguez gets some good work in, and then Lee on the attack. Lee pushing forward more, damaging Rodriguez at this point. Rodriguez up to 56%, and Lee continuing to work. 1-2 combo, landing big on Rodriguez, who needs to defend himself and is not defending himself. Lee has a cut over his eye and a cut on his nose from round 1, but it's about to be round 5. And he just had a phenomenal 4th round. Taking what I would think would be a lead in the fight, but Rodriguez standing on his guard here. Throwing 11 punches to start the round. Some counter work from Lee. And then a big power shot from Lee. Gets through the guard of Rodriguez with a combination. Rodriguez with a counter punch. And that was a very close round. That combination may have given Lee the round, but Rodriguez landed the big shot at the end to tie the round, it seemed. Tough round to call, and Rodriguez has had a good tendency in this fight of getting out to big leads in rounds, and finally, an explosive start to round 6, 14 unanswered punches, and he finally gets Lee into that yellow range, and Lee with a big string of combinations to even off the round, and then Rodriguez comes back at him. A crazy end of the round there. I can barely commentate it. Lee with huge power shots pushed Rodriguez to the edge, and he pushed right back. And now Lee is the more tired fighter with only 33% left with 5 rounds to go, or 6 rather. When you start the 7th round, you still have 6 rounds left to fight. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Big shots from Rodriguez. He's almost finished Lee, and there it is. We're not going to need to worry about how many more rounds we have left to fight because Luis Rodriguez got the finish there. And those good starts to rounds, I just kept saying at some point they're going to pay off. He kept just racking up these 12, 15 punch leads to start these rounds. And finally, he racked up a big lead once he got close to that the end of his TKO percentage, and he'd really been damaged in the fight by the big power punches of Lee. And round 7, he just couldn't take it anymore, and he started landing those big power shots, comboing off with those big power shots, and it was too much for Lee to handle. And he has handed Zhao Feng Lee his first professional loss. Luis Rodriguez, 24-0. That should rocket him up the pound-for-pound rankings. He needs to be in the top 10 and probably the top 5 right now. Still crazy that James Ray lost his heavyweight title. Let's take a look at the heavyweight rankings man, it's crazy. Michael O'Malley with 3 belts. It'll be really interesting to see what James Ray does next. He's still only 32. He's definitely going to get over 50 wins unless he retires pretty early. And this is a crazy strawweight tilt. 17-0 with 15 knockouts versus 17-1 with 15 knockouts. This guy looks unbelievable. I mean, he's got 8 takes punishment, so it makes sense how he lost. Who was the lost? Eliseo Soto, who is definitely a title contender in the strawweight division. So that's an understandable loss for Ramirez. And he fights Vasetkit, who we've covered before. Beat Mpondo and Soto twice, of course, in 2 classic fights. Let's see if Ramirez can defeat the man who defeated the man that defeated him. Say that 3 times fast. Good start for Ramirez. That's a round win for Ramirez, round 1. We're going to go fastest. This could turn into a classic, though. It's a very similar situation. 2 very evenly matched fighters. Explosive round there. Vasetkit doing most of the damage, but Ramirez doing some heavy damage back. And these guys are going to war right now. We are going to go on fast. Another crazy round. They're both starting the round at over 50% damage, but it's been a slow round so far now that we slow it down, of course. Ramirez. And I don't just mean that in the literal way. I mean it sarcastically, like, oh, now that we slow it down, it gets slow. Because that is what happened. It's a crazy round 3 and a boring round 4. Vasetkit with an injury to his left hand. We're going to go back on fastest just to try to initiate some action. No, it's another kind of a mid-tempo round. That looks like a Ramirez win to me, narrowly. Vasetkit had a little more ring control. They're both pretty damaged. Ramirez the more tired fighter, and he's expending more energy now too. But Vaseket has been pretty damaged for a while, and Ramirez is landing more power punches. He may be winning the fight on the judges' scorecard, and then he lays an egg in round 7. Vaseket crushed him. He offered no resistance in round 7. He might as well have stayed on the stool. He won a bunch of rounds in a row and then just didn't come out for the 7th. He won round 3, 4, 5, and 6 by sizable margins and then literally did not throw a punch in round 7 and lets Vaseket pretty much walk to the victory. 21 scoring punches, 5 power punches into the knockdown. He struggles to his feet at the count of 8 and then continues to offer no resistance, and the referee steps in to stop the fight in a nightmare round there for Jonathan Lacona Ramirez, who will be hard-pressed to find another title shot after that. He's going to have to ring off some wins. I'm going to watch this fight, actually, just because I'm really interested in it. Christian Usainov, who has been a consistent figure in the save, beat Andy Fitch. That obviously classic trilogy with Iliev, that classic final knockout to determine it. Made a ton of money, fought a ton of dudes. So many familiar names here from the middle and super middleweight divisions on his record. So one of my favorite fighters, not my stable. Insane to think he's still only 27. He's made $45 million, has 2.8 million fans. Gerard Cooney, though, from Blackrock, Ireland. 6 feet tall, 80-inch reach, 9.5, 9 and 5 record, rather, as an amateur, only 21 years old, but 13-0 with 13 knockouts out of Ireland. 10 takes punishment, a great chin, and a pretty fantastic puncher. 15 power, 20 accuracy, and 20 defense. This guy has all the potential in the world to be a superstar. 100% of wins ending in KO, 4.1 rounds per fight. Fantastic stats so far. Maybe a touch of a padded record, but Wesley Jackson and Carlos Octavio Martinez are not bad wins, as is a second-round knockout of Christian Dupree. It may be a little bit of a stretch for him to have a title fight right now. He isn't really that high ranked by anybody. 13th by the WBA, number 5 by the IBF, 2 by the WBO. I forget what the other body would be called, the green one. He's not ranked by them. Number 12 globally. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but it's only a one-belt fight. And I think Usainov may do well to not see it as an easy title defense. Because if he sees this as easy homework, he could be in big, big trouble and could frame a new superstar in the world of super middleweight boxing and perhaps a 14-0 with 14 knockouts Gerard Cooney. Could you imagine? Round 1. Big round for Cooney. Usainov in trouble. Cooney off to a good start in round 2. The offense becomes a little stale there. Usainov beginning to land. A good start to the round for Usainov, but Cooney is still landing a lot of damage on Usainov, and now Usainov dealing more damage at the start of the round. Cooney up to 64%, but he lands back. They're both damaged fighters at this point. It's another good start to the round from Cooney. Really wears down Usainov. Maybe went to the body there. Gets him up to 72% in the orange on that TKO percentage. Slow start to the round. He manages to keep Cooney in that orange range. Cooney has been in this orange range now, as I've said, continuously for 3 or 4 rounds. Cooney is really consistently landing punches. He's clearly winning this fight. Cooney really could be building himself into superstar status here with the win over Usainov. But he takes damage in that round. It's another clear round. He just needs to defend himself. Usainov's going to be desperate here on his last legs. This has been such a wide win for Cooney, and Cooney takes Christian Usainov's belt. And I think we have a new superstar here in the super middleweight division in Gerard Cooney. He's only 14-0. But what an impressive win there over one of the most established names, if not the most established name in super middleweight boxing. And there is a very new super middleweight champion. Let's just take a look at that division. As we've got 4 champions right now in the super middleweight division. Was that a... Oh, wait, I can't even... There's only... He's not even ranked. Wait, IBF. There. Gerard Cooney as the WBA belt. I can't even see 4 champions. There. Justin 2. Gerard Cooney, Kodlirov, and Aldeganov all have super middleweight championships. So Steve Ervin and Frankie Edwards are going to have plenty of chances to fight for individual belts in the future, I think, after they get through their current opponents. So, all right, and before we get to our fights, we just booked a banger of a card. Check this one out. There's your main event. Gabriel McCreary versus Michael Carl, 2. McCreary getting a chance to avenge his lone title fight loss to Michael Carl by TKO in the 10th round. This is a much older and much more ring-worn and defeated Michael Carl with 2 takes punishment, and his stamina wilted all the way down to 7, is on the canvas down to 9. He did win his last fight, but it's been a struggle. 2 losses to Amparan, a loss to Saeed Lingidi, for the African Championship. He won it back in the rematch, but then lost to Khalidou Faraji. A decent win here over Jovelito Kanoy. So it's a bit of up and a bit of down for Michael Carl, but Gabriel McCreary ain't changed much since that fight. Gabriel McCreary is just every bit the fighter he was back then, and he's still a lot younger than Michael Carl. So I would favor Gabriel McCreary here in this rematch, although unfortunately it is not a title fight, but it will be nice to get some revenge here for a title fight loss for one of our better fighters. Even Rodriguez with a nice co-main here against Mahmoud Whipboy. That is not going to be the best fight on this undercard, though. Lamont Williams versus Mike Altamirano. Mike Altamirano. All-American matchup here. A challenge for Lamont Williams, but I want to see if Lamont Williams can elevate himself in this division by knocking out a fighter with bad defense here in Altamirano, who is 12-0. It would be a big step up for Lamont Williams to knock out an undefeated high-level prospect like that. Speaking of undefeated high-level prospects, Brian Mitchell hoping to get another win here against power-punching Luis Salman. Jesus Cardo, it's an undefeated prospect matchup between Cardo 9-0 and Victor Mboyane, who is 4-0 with 4 knockouts. Cardo with the same number of knockouts, only 4 in his 9 fights, but he's got a lot of punch power, so we'll see. Robert Filippone is going to fight Christian Keys in a warm-up fight, and Trent Flint and Norm Zuski are going to get their first career matchups. It's a sellout at the New York Convention Center for Randy Dale versus Diego Baez. First bout of the night, Ramiro Rodriguez versus Mike Cotrill, a veteran heavyweight matchup. 10 rounds, ding, ding, ding. First punch of the fight is a knockdown for Cotrill. Knocks down Rodriguez, the youngster. Gets back up at the count of 7, but he's in a little damage. He's in a little trouble. Still in trouble here, heading into round 4. We're going to jab and move. Try to stay out of trouble. That works okay. We're going to transition to go to the body. We need a go to the body round to even this fight out. It doesn't really work too well. A bad round from Rodriguez. We're going to have to go for broke here with the last of our energy. I don't feel like I have any other choice. Okay round. We're going to go back to the body. Not good. We're going to smother inside, maybe land a power shot in the clinch. We do an okay job. I'm going to stick to smother inside. Rodriguez has lost this fight. I'm going to stick on smother inside, though. Nothing. We almost get KO'd. That's a bad loss there for Ramiro Rodriguez. One of the judges said that we won. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That's the worst scorecard, I think, of the entire save, actually. We lost every single round except for one, probably. There were 2 borderline rounds, and he actually gave the fight to us. That is absurd. I mean, one of the fighters being like the younger, quicker guy. I mean, it makes a little sense in that Rodriguez is the younger, quicker fighter. But nah, bruh. Nah, he didn't win that fight. That was a bad loss. And it's the second straight loss for Ramiro Rodriguez. And, You know what? To be honest, I'm just going to cut him. There's plenty of good heavyweights. He's got a lot of knockouts. That was the fight where I was like, if he loses, we're cutting him, and he lost, and he didn't look good, so he's gone. Oscar Garcia versus Acevedo. Garcia could be in a similar boat, especially if he loses in a bad way here, and he does. It's a second round knockout for Blake Acevedo, and there's a lot of good heavyweights in this world, man, and we're weeding them out. We got to weed them out somehow. I think Garcia deserves a little bit more of a chance. He does have very low intelligence. He's incredibly gifted beyond his low intelligence and his bad chin, which those are two very, very big drawbacks, believe me. But 14-4 is still okay for a guy with drawbacks that big. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to give Oscar Garcia more of a chance. He's also a New York kid, so. Kareem Ramos versus Charles DeLuke. This is a decently high-level fight. Let's see if Kareem Ramos can continue on the path to success in the welterweight division. I think he's definitely a bit of an underrated fighter in our stable. Ramos. More good rounds, doing more good damage. He might not quite be winning the fight. I think he is winning the fight. He's definitely winning the fight now. And that sucks. We run out of energy with 4 more rounds left to fight. Go to the body round drains him. We're going to jab and move here. Hope that works. Not great. We're going to cover up. And we might have blown this fight here. We might have blown this fight. We're going to smother inside and try to survive. And that's a very good idea. It's a very good round. But it doesn't save the fight for us. Charles DeLuke upsets Kareem Ramos. And it's been a rough night for us so far. 3 fights and 3 losses. Wow. Kareem Ramos definitely a fighter who deserves more chances, but definitely isn't looking like a championship level guy at this point in his career. We're going to have to look for other top options at welterweight. We definitely already have them in Mitchell and McCreary. Ramos is far from our top hope in the welterweight division. But Frankie Edwards is a big step up in terms of status here. Frankie Edwards, one of our bigger fighters, fighting Vadim Abramian, a very high ring IQ fighter, so capable of stealing rounds. But it's Edwards who wins an action-packed round 1, a bad round 2. Can Edwards get back into the fight? Edwards always seems to find a way. But he's the more damaged fighter so far in this one, as we're going to go to the body. That doesn't work either. Do we have a height advantage? We do. Let's jab and move. We have a little more energy, actually, despite being the more damaged fighter. Back to natural style, and there's a knockout for Frankie Edwards, and finally something goes right, and Frankie Edwards pulls the magic out of the bag, just like he always seems to. It's a one-punch KO here in round 7, and Frankie Edwards is 25-2, and very well maybe lined up for one of those very many super middleweight belts that are floating out there right now. And this is a big fight here for Ricardo Cotrill against a pretty legitimate heavyweight contender here in Apachado Tanaru, who fought Danny Snow and James Ray for their respective belts and is off a 2-fight losing streak. So this could be actually a 3-fight losing streak that started with the loss to Danny Snow. So this could be a nice win for Ricardo Cotrill here. The narrative probably would be that it was just Otenaru's gone cold. He's on a losing streak, but it'd still be a good win for Ricardo. Good first round, bad second, even third. Bad 4th round. Bad 5th round. Cotrill has got to find something here. We're going to try to jab and move. That worked at first, and then it didn't. I guess we're going to go to the body. Both fighters are damaged. This is a kind of crazy fight right now. Both fighters are very close to being stopped. And we are definitely going to go for broke in round 10 and try to get a finish. We're down in the fight. It's a big round. Is it enough to get us the decision? And we win on all 3 scorecards, despite being out-punched and out-power-punched. Apachado Teneru cannot be excited about that decision on a losing streak. I'm not even sure that I agree with it. To my eye, it looks like we won 3 rounds out of that fight. And I mean, don't even get me started on power punches. He dominated us on power punches. I don't understand how we won that fight, but you know what? If that's a hometown scorecard, an American versus an Australian in America, I'll take it. I think we just robbed Apachado Teneru, but it's another win on the record for Ricardo Cotrill. And could he maybe sneak a little heavyweight title shot? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe a couple more sneaky wins for Cotrill, and he could. Maybe even right now. You never know. You never know if one of the heavyweight champions wants to cherry pick somebody, and Ricardo Cotrill is already ranked by a lot of bodies. He could maybe get a shot here soon. Because I don't think he can take on any of these heavyweight champions that are out there right now. I think they'd love a easy title defense against Ricardo Cotrill. And then it'll be up to us to try to get that upset. Randy Dale versus Diego Baez. Randy Dale versus Diego Baez, and every Randy Dale fight feels like a big deal, doesn't it? Because he's just so underrated and so slept on that any loss is going to just be very detrimental. He's always under a lot of pressure, and he loses the first round to Baez. He needs to get into this fight. He's not into this fight. It might be a mistake, but I'm going to tell him to pile on pressure. And we get a knockdown, but we have no energy. It's a flash knockdown. We were in a lot of trouble there. It's a good round for Baez again. We're going to tell Dale to jab and move here. It's a good round. We still have energy left. We're going to go to the body in this round. And we get the knockout. Randy Dale with his 20th professional KO on a body shot. The second knockdown of the fight. Dale flexing the muscles, showing the power. He didn't throw a lot of punches, but the ones he did throw in this fight were devastating, and he really used those last percentage of his energy effectively and made it seem like he was just trapping him the whole time. He meant to do that the whole time. That was all the game plan. That was just planned from the start. Randy Dale just made that look good. Randy Dale just made that look easy. One of the better results of his whole career. And Amparan and Bulacan. That is a super fight, baby. We have a super fight on the cards right here. How about that one? The absolute undisputed welterweight championship of all time. Edgar Amparan, the reigning defending welterweight champion. Off a string of very impressive title defenses. Is going to take on the undefeated super lightweight champion, Robert Bulacan, moving up to welterweight. How about that? That is a super fight. Yeesh. And it's another sold-out night at the New York Convention Center. Steve Ervin versus Dmitry Matveyev. First fight of the night is the professional debut of Derek Mitchell. Good first round. Better second round. Mitchell looking good so far. Broke his left hand. So pile on pressure and stop the fight sooner. 15% left. Risk go natural style. And that's a 6-0 shutout for Derek Mitchell in his professional debut. That was very impressive. Martinez versus, I probably don't have to bother to pronounce it. It should be a short fight. And there's the knockdown and the knockout in round 3 for Mark Martinez, who advances to 2-0. Tony Ali looking to go to 6-0 against J-Man Lee. Almost won the first round before Ali stormed back, and we're just going to tell Ali to pile on pressure. And he gets the KO. 5 punches into round 3. J-Man Lee has knocked out every opponent that he has beaten, but he does not beat us. It's his 14th professional loss. Tony Ali with his 6th professional win. And Jose Edwards looking for a bounce-back fight here down the undercard against Joseph Esquivel, who does plenty of damage to him. I think we need to go to the body. Just stand up to him a little bit. Maybe not the best idea. We take a little too much damage. We'll jab and move now. We still take more damage. Now we're going to have to cover up, and Edwards is in a lot of trouble. I'm going to go for broke. I wouldn't like fighting Edwards going for broke. Edwards is a pretty scary fighter to go for broke. Let's smother inside. And let's plant our feet. Screw it. I think we're a better puncher. It worked that time too. Let's go back to smother inside. I don't want to go to natural style. And then we're going to go for broke here in the last round. It might not be smart, but we're way down in this fight. And Jose Edwards gets knocked out. Let's take a look at Jose Edwards. He got off to such a great start. He started out 15-0. The 9 takes punishment, the 13 defense. He's a good puncher, but his intelligence just seems to be betraying him here at the higher levels. Escobar is a rough loss, and that was a bad performance. It was a little close. I don't think Edwards has done enough to deserve an into his contract. He's made $1 million. But I question definitely if he's capable of making it at the next level. I really don't think. I think he may not even be actually a contender level fighter for all the hype around him after that undefeated start and all those knockouts. That is a shame. Grant versus Hutchinson. And it's a knockdown for Hutchinson on Grant. Grant has a weird tendency to get knocked down, but he gets back up and he gets the finish there. Round 6. Grant with another win. Hartman also looking for another win. His 15th career win it would be. And there's a knockout in round 2 for Rico Hartman. His 15th professional win and his 10th professional knockout over Patrick Ashinde. Gervonta Williams versus Mauro Ortiz. Mauro Ortiz a decent test for Williams, who has bowled over everybody so far, and he's bowling over Ortiz as well. This should be a pretty easy, quick stoppage coming here from Williams. Will it be in the 4th or the 5th? Shouldn't be quite so cocky. Let's pile on pressure. Then we'll look for the KO. With 66% energy to 0, and that's going to get it done. Gervonta Williams, his 11th knockout, 11-0 now. Manuel Soto looking to go to 13-0, and this is going to be an awesome fight. We're going to watch this on fast. Is this the best light heavyweight fight we have put on so far? Manuel Soto versus Ari Singh Phantom. 13-1 out of Thailand. A great challenge here for the undefeated Buffalo prospect Manuel Soto. He's already got Singh Phantom cut over both his left and right eyes. Soto showing great accuracy and power already to cut his opponent. Still blood coming from the left eye of Singh Phantom as he manages to take the round with lots of volume. Impressive work there from the Thai fighter. More volume to start the round from Singh Phantom. Soto is going to have to come back. And Soto finally landing volume in response. And it's another Singh Phantom round. We're going to go to the body. We need to swing this fight somehow, and Soto now with a cut. And Singh Phantom likes us going to the body. And there we go. We finally land something, but Singh Phantom gets us right back. More shots. Soto lands a combination. And it's a 3rd Singh Phantom round in a row. And we don't get that edge and energy we were looking for. We're going to go on fastest just for 1 round. I don't like how this is going. There's a win for Soto. Much needed. We're going to jab and move in round 5. And that works like a treat. Maybe now we can go back to the body. Smother inside would have been smarter. Damn it. I should have gone smother inside. Let's pile on pressure. That's okay. Now we have to smother inside because he's the only fighter with energy. And it's a good round. This is a closer fight than I think it looks like. We're going to cover up while he's in the last of his energy and counterpunch. And that's a good round. And this is a close fight. We're going to go for broke, no question. As he's out of energy now. We've been out of energy for a while. Singh Phantom landing the better work. Not super surprising to start the round. It's going to be up to Soto to land a big lucky punch and keep his undefeated record. Or will they let us out with a draw. It would take Soto landing some volume. Sig Phantom is dominating this round. We've got nothing to say. It's lucky that we even stayed in the fight. And yeah, no doubt about it. Manuel Soto loses his undefeated record. This has been a frustrating night for us. One of our only wins lately has been Cotrill on a, it feels like at least, has been Cotrill on a BS decision. And now Manuel Soto, who I thought maybe would never lose, has his maiden professional loss. And one of his frankly first challenging professional bouts. I don't know what to say. It's starting to make me think I need to re-examine my tactics a little bit. Like, starting to look at myself. I can't lie. Because we're just struggling. A lot of times, even our good prospects are struggling when they get up to that level. And Steve Ervin needs to bring some hope back to the promotion right now. I'm kind of in a bleak mood. He's got an easy win here, it seems like, on paper over Matveyev. Matveyev, big shot to the head. And it's a bad start to this fight, too. We're heavily damaged in round 1. I don't know what to say, man. This is bleak right now. There's just bad vibes. What is happening? Come on, Steve Ervin. Can we actually land some damage? Pile on pressure. That was a destructive round. 24-0 from Steve Ervin. And he gets us right back. Let's go to the body. Let's just get in there. Be aggressive. Nice. We get a win there in that round. Natural style hasn't worked well. We get knocked down. Why do I talk? And this fight just swings right back to Matveyev. The cover-up round doesn't work too well. We're going to pile on pressure. It's another knockdown. We have to be losing on the cards at this point with these freaking knockdowns. It's so annoying. I can't possibly do natural style. I'm going to pile on pressure again. We get a knockdown. And, I mean, we're definitely... This is a... Imagine scoring this thing. This is a nightmare of a fight to score. We're going to go for broke. We start with a jab. Heavy shot to the head. If we can do most of the work here, we can chase a finish. Again, it's a nightmarish fight to score. A minute left. Hopefully we do some work here in the last round, but it's heavy punch from Matveyev. Ervin with a good combination. Matveyev lands back. Try scoring that one. And they score it against us. Steve Ervin loses. What a depressing event, man. Wow. That was bad. That was just straight up bad. I am not happy right now. We've got another event in a week. But it's Flores. Oh, no, it's Flores versus Connell. Okay, I was like, if it's Flores versus Cotrill, I'm like, but we're guaranteed to lose. No, we're not guaranteed to lose. We can win some fights next week. But, I mean, Steve Ervin could have gotten a title shot if he won that fight. And it wasn't even a particularly hard matchup, and he still managed to lose it. I don't know what to say anymore. This is depressing. Our second most followed fighter right now is 14-0. And, I mean, Manuel Soto was 12-0, but Edwards was 15-0, and now he's 18-3. So it just seems like everything we touch dies at the moment right now. Brandon Ramos, there's some guys down here that give me hope, but you know, once they start getting up to that contender level, how will they fare? Because it seems like our fighters just seem to stumble at every roadblock, man. I don't know. It just seems like we seem to stumble at every roadblock right now. We're going to do one more event and try to switch the mojo around here. What do we have? Bill Donnelly and Andrew Smith. Donnelly has 3 belts, obviously. I think Seals... No, Donnelly fought Fitch, so he'd be avenging Fitch. Donnelly is fought in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Donnelly has fought in 12 consecutive world title bouts, and he is 11-1. He's a 3-belt world champion. He's one of the greatest of all time. I don't know if he's a little older. Seals could beat him. No question. He's got better punch accuracy. What matters more? But that 20 ring IQ and 18 punch power. In that the size advantage is also scary, and the fact that he's Bill Donnelly is scary. Andrew Smith is also a one belt champion. At this point, we just want to reach championship level. And if this is an easier fight for us to win a belt, I'll absolutely take it. It's not. Andrew Smith is every bit the fighter that Donnelly is. I think that's the fight that really should be made. Smith versus Donnelly. Y'all need to unify. Yeah, I think Donnelly is weirdly the easier fight for Tony Seals. Go to the body, right? How much ring IQ do you need to just go to the body? Is it a risk? Yeah. But he's got better stamina. He's got a bunch of power, but he doesn't have the accuracy. There's a pretty good chance that Tony Seals is going to be able to get inside on Donnelly, and Donnelly's not going to be able to hit him back. And I'm willing to take that risk because Andrew Smith is just a buzzsaw. I don't really see a way through Andrew Smith. The stamina's low, but the punch accuracy and the punch power and the high chin, it's just like we can hit him in the body, but we're not going to be able to hit him in the head. I guess we could run him out of stamina, but he's also the kind of high ring IQ fighter where he'd probably do a good job out of stamina. It is definitely a very tough choice. But I'm going to take Bill Donnelly. Bill Donnelly is a bigger name, and I actually think he's a better win. I think the game is wrong. I think he's an easier win. I think the game is wrong about that. I think he's an easier win. He has 20 stamina. We have 20 stamina too. Big deal. 10 weeks time. Tony Seals versus Bill Donnelly. All right, so here's the full Seals versus Donnelly card. We've got Seals versus Donnelly for 3 belts at the top of the card, 12 rounds at middleweight. The chief supporting bout, Rigoberto Grant, will take on power puncher Percy Marks. Gervonta Williams in his first, I believe his first undisputed, undisputed. I keep saying undisputed instead of undefeated. It is his first undefeated prospect matchup and by far the toughest fight of his career against New Yorker Perry Najera. Rico Hartman will take on an interesting defensive fighter in Rogelio Douglan, who is 19-19. Tony Ali, another easy win here against Joshua Garcia, and an interesting fight all the way down the card. Darius Mitchell, kind of trying to clout chase here with Dangerous Darius. He needs a big win after that loss. It's a bit of an interesting decision to put him against a power punching Mexican with a crazy chin, who's 3 inches taller than him, coming off a loss, but it would be a big win. It would be an impressive win that I think a lot of people would notice, and Mitchell needs something like that. Mitchell needs a big clout-boosting win, and I think 19-6 looks a lot better than 18-7, so we want him to get a win. We want him to get a big win. And it's time for David Flores versus Andy Conwell, and oh boy, what a win this would be for David Flores. And this is the card where I thought about putting Morales versus Rice, but I split them up. A lot of real boxing cards where two fighters who should be fighting each other fight setups on the undercard instead of just fighting each other. Cough cough, Fatal Fury, Times Square, Ryan Garcia. Cough cough, Devin Haney. Cough cough, Teofimo Lopez. Pick on somebody your own size, as we're gonna go on fastest because Derek Flores is easily taking care of business here. We're still in the pre-fraud check era of this guy's career. That's how I'm starting to feel at this point. I mean, I'm just sitting here pretending like we don't have Fred Morales, but at this point, I mean, who do I have faith in to be undefeated? Derek Flores. With a nice win, though. As I whine and moan, we win fights. And this event already going better than the last one. Knockdown for Todd Lopez. Although, I mean, you know, when your undefeated prospects bowl over their opposition, it's not supposed to be surprising or even particularly memorable. Windy Rice over Caesar Brown. Fight gets a little more even there for Windy. But he takes advantage. He's going to pile on here. And he gets beat up a little bit to start that round 5, but then he steps into a combination and knocks out Caesar Brown. Andy Fitch versus Andre Ziegler. This is a pretty good fight here in the super welterweight division. Andy Fitch looking to get back in the win column. Always able to flick that switch, but man, his chin seems pretty cracked. He takes damage pretty easy, doesn't he? He takes damage pretty easy without taking too many punches. But hey, you know what? He gives some damage back to Ziegler there. And Andy Fitch with a knockout to get back into the win column. Not the most impressive opposition, but it's nice to see a win for Andy Fitch. And Brandon Ramos, undefeated, taking on a smart fighter in Mark Bredican. And see if he can get it done. Mike Bredican, not Mark Bredican. And there's a power punch to the body here in round 4. Let's go. Bad round. We need to... So go to the body can really be bad decisions sometimes. We're still okay. We're not knocked out. Yeah, we're ahead in the fight. We're going to pile on pressure. Man, he really is. He was really throwing at us. He doesn't like us. We're going to go for broke here with the last of our energy and try to chase the finish, and we get it. Brandon Ramos up to 8-0. A bit of a tough fight. Took a little damage. But it's a good step from Brandon Ramos. Hopefully he doesn't wilt under the pressure once he actually gets to those high levels, because I'm sure he will. He's very impressive. Max Rice looking for another win over Sergio Lucio Perez here in the super flyweight division. Rice, such a blood and guts warrior here at the promotion. One of the best, most consistent guys. Crazy round right there. We're going to go back to natural style. But we've got this guy almost finished and have for a while. We'll jab and move on him. And that was a good decision. We're going to pile on pressure and try to get the finish here for Rice. Doesn't happen. Pile on pressure hasn't been that great for Max Rice in this fight. As we stick to natural style, and there we go. Now Max Rice gets the finish. That is his 20th professional knockout and his 26th professional win. Max Rice has been one of the best fighters in this save, despite attributes that would indicate a pretty average fighter. He has performed far, far above that. And Fred Morales is very far from an average fighter, and this should be an easy win here against Herman Ruiz. I was talking about worrying about Fred Morales losing his 0. That should not be too much of a concern tonight. And my big mouth. Never mind. Morales 27-0. Ruiz won round 1. That's why I said my big mouth. But then Morales just walked out and landed 3 punches and big right hand to end it. And Morales is 27-0, creeping up towards that 30-0 mark for the first time. That's what I want Morales to be our first 30-0 fighter. I really do. David Flores versus Andy Conwell. This is a big, big fight for Andy Conwell. Andy Conwell, fighter out of New York. A lot of draws. Obviously a smart fighter, good stamina, good enough defense at 14, good enough punch accuracy at 13, and a really solid chin. And a big dude at 6'9". A tough SOB, a tough out for David Flores. But Flores has taken on challenger after challenger and proven himself to be a worthwhile asset to the heavyweight division. And he's landed big punches against Conwell off the ropes to start the fight. Good stuff there. Gotta love that. Good start to round 2 for Conwell. After getting damage delivered in round 2. Flores pouring on. Flores, a big, powerful shot on Conwell. Ooh, and a good into the round for Flores. Conwell starts round 3 well as well. Off the back foot, the more damaged fighter, Conwell. Flores not taking huge damage despite a lot of work from Conwell here. 16 punches. He hasn't even put Flores into the yellow. And Flores lands a little bit back to end the round. I'm feeling a little jab and move here. I want to stay away from Conwell. A bit sus jabbing and moving against the larger man. Let's see how it works. It is a heavyweight fight. The rules don't really apply. Just trying to shake the legs out a little bit and use the ring a touch. Conwell responds by winning the round. We're going to go back to natural style. We're no longer ahead on energy. Let me just check some stuff here. Okay. It's another good round for Conwell. I'm starting to get worried. David Flores does fight well on cover up if he needs to. And Conwell injures his left hand beating on us. It's another big power punch. We might get stopped. And we survive the round. We survive the round. It says Andy Conwell asserts total dominance over David Flores in that round. Very one-sided. We are going to cover up and try to counterpunch. And it's a couple big power punches here. It doesn't seem to damage Conwell, and Flores is cut under the eye as Conwell gets right back to doing what he was doing in the last round. Now that that cover-up seems to have worn off a bit, Flores is going to have to keep counterpunching, but Conwell's providing just too much volume. And I don't even know what to do at this point. We're very damaged. I think smother inside is definitely the move, especially against a larger man. Flores is going to need to avoid those big shots. He lands a big shot, but takes one. Doesn't take one back, takes a couple jabs back. He's doing a good job so far. Let's see how much energy he can take away from Conwell. He needs to stay clean in the last minute of this round, though. It's a very boring round. And smother inside seems to work very, very well. I'm actually going to stay on that instruction. It worked so well. We're down at 27%. Smothering inside against the larger man is working phenomenally right now for David Flores as a tactical decision. This is a more even round 8, but we're not taking any damage at all. Conwell is now the more damaged fighter, back from us being on the very brink a few rounds ago. Tough to say we won that round. We're going to have to go for broke here with the last of our energy, and we may very well get damaged because there has not been a lot of volume from David Flores, and he is not the better puncher. Hopefully this round stays a little slow if we don't do explosive damage, but we do some damage. It's not enough to seriously damage Conwell. Now he's in the yellow, but we don't have him anywhere near the red, and we may have even dropped the round there. As it does say he won the round as we head into round 10. Needing a KO to win the fight. Go for broke doesn't seem smart either. I may just put it on natural style. I don't have a great feeling about natural style, but there's some good work at the start of the round for Flores. I don't know if winning this round would be enough. We very well could be ending this episode with another loss, unfortunately. We do have a big title shot on the horizon to look forward to, however. Flores wins that last round, but I doubt he won the fight. And it is a very narrow split decision loss for David Flores. No shame in that. Andy Conwell is a top-level heavyweight and a good piece of opposition for David Flores. I think that's a pretty fair result. There was a couple rough rounds from Flores that put him down, especially that 24-4 fifth round. So another unfortunate close loss there for David Flores. But you know what? We'll always love David Flores. We know how good of a fighter he is. We know how gifted of a fighter he is. And we hope he stays at the promotion for a long time. If I can actually find him, what just happened? Where is he? Did he retire? I'm just saying, oh, I want him at the promotion for a long time. Retires. And yeah, there's confirmation right there. So David Flores, after a tough luck career, retires after 33 professional fights. And that is our most tenured fighter to retire. He retires at the age of only 27. Sad to see for the Southpaw from Placentia, California, who we signed in the very first episode of The Save. But that's going to be a career for David Flores, and we'll throw him a follow, so he's always there for us. I doubt he's a Hall of Famer. He never got a title shot, but there is a very close universe to our own, where David Flores maybe got a few better decisions, got a few things to bounce his way, and had a better career. And unfortunately, we will never get to see that quadrilogy between him and Ricardo Cotrill. I personally believe he won this second fight, and I will always forever believe that David Flores won that trilogy against Ricardo Cotrill, and I maybe even see that as the crowning achievement of his career, avenging that loss to 15-2-2 Ricardo Cotrill in that draw that he should have won, and then knocking him out in the first round was a really great way, honestly, in hindsight, to cap his career. And it would have been lovely if he would have won the Conwell fight, but after that it was just maybe a little more damage than he was willing to handle. It didn't look like he was that damaged of a fighter, though, so it's unfortunate that he retired, actually. I'm not really sure why he made that decision. It just is what it is. Some people just get tired of getting punched in the face, but his chin was still not cracked even after 8 losses, but it's still eight heavyweight losses, so you can't blame him. And we have enough influence points to sign Sebastian Martinez, who I was talking about before, the 0-1 featherweight from Tucson, Arizona. So we're going to sign him up for our amateur ranks, and we are still very excited about the guys in our amateur ranks. And Fred Morales still doesn't have a dang title shot. Absolutely crazy. We're gonna end the episode here though, guys. We can always schedule Rice versus Morales. I really don't want to do that. I'd rather actually just find an actual authentic title shot for Fred Morales. Martin Castro doesn't have a fight scheduled. And Takuya isn't scheduling us because why would he want to fight us? Why on earth? Like, you guys, okay. You guys can go on after this episode, after this, the ending of right here of episode 19, and say, you haven't won a title. You haven't won a championship. For the record, Takuya is dodging Fred Morales officially. If he wanted to fight us, we would beat his ass. We would crush him. There's no way we wouldn't beat Takuya. Fred Morales is sitting here 27-0 with 26 knockouts, clearly a better fighter than one of the two-belt super flyweight champions in his own weight class. It's absolutely shameless that Fred Morales isn't a champion at this point. But he is only 27-0. Once he gets to 30-0, I can really start getting steaming mad. He's got a couple good matchups. At the beginning of next episode, I'll tell you what matchup I make for him. There's a lot of intriguing ones here. Yeah. Hard to call that a fun episode. Definitely a struggle. Flores retired. Soto lost. Edwards lost. Ramos lost, I'm pretty sure. Andy Fitch got a win. That was something. We scheduled a big title fight for Tony Seals, as we all predicted. He's going to take on Bill Donnelly in a big rematch, and that's going to be coming up next episode here in episode 20. And in episode 20, we're going to take a big look at all the record holders so far to start out the episode, so keep an eye out for that. That's going to be a blast. We're going to take a big, long look at the pound-for-pound rankings. There's only a couple guys in the Hall of Fame, but we're going to take a look at the Hall of Fame. We're going to take a look at all the records and everything, so that's going to be a blast to start the next episode. So we will see you guys in that one in episode 20 of Boxing Manager.